Hello. Okay, yeah, it seems to be working. Sorry, there's a massive delay between my streaming software and what YouTube does. So, hello, everybody who's already here. So, can everybody hear me okay? Yes, sausages will be eaten, Morris. I shall manage to do that, no problem. Can you just let me know with a comment? Yeah, sounds good. Okay, thanks, Maurice. Because I can't watch it on YouTube at the same time because there's like a delay and it's totally doing my head in. So, fine. Main thing is you can hear me, you can see me. Ruby is here somewhere. She'll probably come in and out of that door behind me from time to time. So, good evening. Thank you, everybody, for coming along. Really appreciate it. And yeah, hopefully it'll be good fun. Hopefully you've all got something to eat and drink. I heard mention of cake. Cornish Motorcycle Diaries. Cake. Okay. All right. Cornish Motorcycle Diaries has gone down to the spa. Uh-huh. Good. Yeah. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Yes, good evening to everybody. Lily, Cornish Motorcycle Diaries, Maurice Rides Out, Chad Winters, David Hawkins. And I think that was it. I don't think I've forgotten anybody so far. So thank you for coming along. Right. So yeah, today this is going to be a slightly different thing to maybe some live shows because basically I don't have any aspiration to be remotely professional in what I do. So we're just going to freestyle it a little bit. It's quite exciting actually because I've mentioned this in the comments to a couple of people that Exeter Rider actually has chosen my live show to come out. I know. Now, obviously, we need to support him. And I think it's a brave decision. So I hope we'll all get behind him when he does it and make him feel welcome. As you can see, I've still got the EconomicalRides famous box and the whiskey supply. And there's another bottle over here somewhere. So, yeah, without further ado, let me introduce then our special guest for today, Exeter Rider, who I believe has something very important that he'd like to share with us. Hello, Exeter.
Hello, my name is Steve.
Is that it?
That's it.
Oh.
That's me coming out. My name is Steve.
That wasn't really what we were expecting, but hello, Steve. There we go. We now know Exeter Rider is in fact Steve. A few of you probably knew that, but it wasn't common knowledge. And yeah, I was wondering what I could call you because ER and ER, it was going to get confusing. So it's Steve. Steve, and I'm Gary, which most of you probably also know. So
Hi, Gary.
Gary.
Hi, Chad,
Steve.
Lily, Sarah. Everybody else
Steve.
is in the side chat there.
This is confusing because it's all the wrong way around. Steve? No, that's Gary. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So that's who we are. So who have we got in the chat? Everybody, Chad. Oh, Saddlebags. Hello, Saddlebags. Awesome.
The Steve and Gaza show.
Yeah, that's the one.
Bit like Ant and Dec, but better.
Oh, definitely better, mate. Right. So what are we drinking tonight?
Tonight I am on the Desperados because that was the first thing that popped out the cupboard. So I thought I'll go for that. And you're on the
Estrella Galicia.
Cheers. I say. Cheers, my friend. Isn't it amazing that you're all the way in Spain or France, as our common joke, and we
Yeah.
can talk like we're just next door. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing, and especially with you being in Exmouth, where I thought rural broadband was going to be terrible, seems to work quite well.
It's actually all right. It's not bad at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not bad.
How many have you
Right.
got on,
So,
Gary?
I haven't got a clue because I've shut the YouTube window because it was confusing me too much. So,
Oh, it should say in the
uh,
top right hand corner normally, but
does it? Hang on. Where does it say that?
top left. Sorry, it normally says.
Oh, there we go. Eyeballs. Yeah, 12. We got 12 so
Oh,
far.
that's all right. That's good going.
Hallo Stefan, schön dich zu sehen. Schön, dass du dabei bist. One of my German friends. Yeah, so everybody's there. Oh, FT Strat LP. Hello. We Mark. Hello. There's quite a few people I promised to say hello to and wave at. So just checking to make sure I've not forgotten anybody.
There are a lot of new names for me in here. Chad Winters, Stefan.
I've got so many fans, mate. Well, Ruby has. You wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Hello, Sarah, Holland, and Pete, and Chili the dog. That's right. Hello, you three. And everybody else. If I've forgotten anybody, I apologise. It's kind of difficult because I want to engage with Exeter, with Steve, but I can't kind of keep my eyes on the chat all of the time. But if there's something super important that you want us to answer, just keep posting it. I should hopefully see it eventually. I'll try and keep half an eye on the chat. Right, so
I'll tell you what, Gary, before you go too far, it's surprisingly difficult, unless you've actually done it before, to be where you are now. Because I've had people say to me before now that, I'm not looking at the comments and things like that, but it's very hard to run the show and look at the comments and trying to think of 10 steps ahead, isn't it?
Yeah. And also, of course, because you're a celebrity, you need my undivided attention. Hello, Lance. I don't know what a spicy Caesar is, but I'm guessing it's an alcoholic beverage, so enjoy that. Right. Oh, Mark's still doing miles on his new Rebel. That's good to hear. Yes, FT Strat LP, multitasking. Difficult, but we shall try. Like I said, if somebody's really got a genuine, interesting question that they really want an answer to, either from me or from Exeter, from Steve, post it multiple times and we'll probably see it eventually. Yes, chat, that is a NC750X. Something we'll get around to. That's actually where we're going to start off. We're going to start off by, for those that don't know, the bikes that you currently own. Tell us about those.
Yeah, so I've own a 2017 Honda NC750X. In the background there, that is a DCT model. Bit of a long story. When they first come out in 2016 as a DCT, I used to look at the NC750X and basically I thought, I don't want to ride a scooter, as many people do with the NC750X. Anyway, I went to go out on a test ride on another bike. I think it was it was a Honda 500X actually. And I went back and I was kind of a bit flattened by the 500X with its screen that wasn't very good and noisy. And the chap in the showroom said, well, okay, if you're disappointed in that with that, then you might enjoy the NC750X. And I said, well, I'll give it a go then. And you know those times when you get on a bike and you just instantly know that this is the right decision. And that's what happened to me that day. I literally probably got down the end of the road, took it out on the motorway. I was doing 70 miles an hour at 3,000 revs. And straight after that, I knew that that was the bike for me because I could tell that it was a good all-rounder. So that's how I ended up with the NC, not to mention the frunk in the middle as well, where you can store lots of stuff. Good town bike, good city bike, and good as a touring bike as well, in my opinion. So yeah, that's how I ended up with the NC.
Right, I've got a picture of that. Hang on. And then we'll get onto your other bike in a minute. I just, because you sent me pictures, I might as well.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah.
Hang on. So this is a picture of your NC.
Just speaking to Andy GSA Tractor, if I may, Gary. Yes, I've come out tonight. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and family know this anyway. So yeah, I've come out, and basically I know
You've
how
really,
Critical Go feels now. So
yeah, you've really embraced it, haven't you? It's really
Mhm.
good, and you've been getting a lot of support as well from the people in the chat. So that's awesome.
Everyone's been wonderful, Gary. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
been such a big thing, and yeah.
yeah. So I think I've got a picture of your bike here. I'm not sure whether this is going to mess up with our split screen. Hang on.
Oh,
Oh,
hello.
hang on. No, sorry. I was doing some research earlier. Hang on.
Of
That's wrong.
course.
I,
Yeah.
I was researching the effect of public sector cuts on the health service, and
Yes.
one of the things they're considering is reducing the size of nurses' uniforms
Oh,
to save
okay.
a bit of money.
I think
So
it's a good idea.
yeah, sorry, that was my research from earlier. Hang on. Shwoop. There we go. That's the
That's it.
kiddie. Is that Exmouth Harbour in the background?
It is Exmouth Harbour. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I quite often go down there for photo shoots and things like that because it's got a nice background. So yeah, that was a lovely day when I took that photo. That was actually for the exhaust video, my Black Widow exhaust that I put on the back there. I
Oh
went
right.
down there to take a photo of that. So yeah, it's lovely. Nice part of the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. So you'd say that bike kind of totally surprised you. You weren't expecting to like it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it totally surprised me. And at the time, back in 2017, this bike had only just come out. So I think it was 2018 when I actually bought mine. But I spent a year wanting the bike, and basically I just bought a CB300R, which I only owned for 9 months before I test rode that bike, and then I chopped in my CB300R for the NC. So, and it's a keeper now. There's no way I can get rid of that bike. It'll do everything.
Yeah. Is that the one that's got like storage under the what looks like it should be the tank? Is that
That's right.
it's kind of got all of the advantages of being a scooter, but it just looks like a proper motorbike.
Yeah, but it's nothing like a scooter because the actual gearbox changes automatically. Obviously, with a
Mm,
scooter, you've got the CVT belt, which is constantly
yeah,
revving high, whereas with
yeah,
the DCT, you hear it clunk into gear each time, up and down.
mm,
So it's a nice way of riding. I like it. I mean, most people like DCT. I think there's a few people that don't, that have actually
mm,
tried it. But yeah, overall, it's been a great bike for me. I've made a lot of changes to it. I've changed the seat. I've upgraded that because the seat was awful. I put bar risers on it, put the exhaust on it. It's got a rear hugger, a front mud guard as well, defender sort of thing. Screen. Yeah, it's a bit of a Frankenstein bike, to be honest with you. The more I think about it, I realize how much I've changed on it. But yeah, so it's a heck of a bike. It's really good.
yeah, awesome. And then your other bike is a BMW. I'm guessing the name is going to be some combination of a number representing the cubic capacity, and then a bunch of R's, T's, and possibly an S thrown in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's an R850R. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So it's a
Understood.
1998 model. The reason I bought that really, trying to think now myself, but I've always liked the Boxer engine setup. I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to the engineering side of motorcycles. So I wanted something that was different. I wanted something that kind of looked good.
Mm.
And I wanted that Boxer engine torque. Have you ever ridden a BMW Boxer, Gary? Or
I don't think I have. No.
no?
No.
Best way to describe it, really, the Boxer engine, you don't really get a lot of vibrations because the boxes are going out the side, so you don't feel any sort of vibrations coming up. And the way they deliver their power, if the engine is struggling and you need to knock it down a gear, it just burbles and keeps on pulling. Whereas obviously on a conventional bike, it will start to complain. You have to knock it down a gear. I kind of like that feel of the Boxer engine. And I decided that I wanted to dip my foot in the water of owning a Boxer engine. This bike come up in COVID times for £1,700. It didn't have an MOT. I wasn't concerned about that. And so I went up to Wales and picked it up. And it's been a good buy, actually.
I've got a picture of that as well. Hang on. Picture of your, what was it? A BMW R850R?
You got it.
Oh, I'm good. Professional.
Yeah. Good memory. Well done.
Yeah. Right. Hang on. Here we go.
Oh.
Hang on. No, that was something else I was researching. I was looking into the way the church is looking at increasing attendances because they've dropped quite a bit in recent times.
Yes.
It's apparently one of the means that they were considering.
Nothing to do with fetishes or anything like that. No.
No, purely research, mate. I'm a very, very broadly interested guy. I like to research all kinds of things. Hang on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right, hang on. Here we go. Where's your BMW?
The little thumbnails that they give you is a nightmare to look at, isn't it, Gary? You can't see the pictures very well.
It's difficult, yeah. Mind you, that nurse, she stuck out. She was easy to find.
She did. Yeah, there's a couple points about her. Yeah.
There were a couple of things that were instantly recognisable, yeah.
This is a funny one because I looked at this bike back in, I saw it in a showroom in 2016. There was 4 of them lined up, actually. And I looked at them and I thought, who the hell would want to ride that? Because I didn't understand about the telelever suspension on the front and all the power lever suspension. I just thought, what an ugly looking bike. And it wasn't until I rode my first Boxer engine back in 2018, which was the RS1250. 2019, sorry, RS1250. And that's when I got my my urge to get a Boxer engine, really. And so I thought I'd go in cheap and start out small. In fact, it was quite a good decision because those bikes are more reliable than the newer ones, really, because they're so basic. And I really like it. Will I keep it? I don't know, but I do like it a lot.
And the flask holder looks like a mod.
It is. Yeah, that was made by me for the first Saddlebags ride out. I was going to take it off, but it became so infamous that I decided to keep it on.
How'd you get on with the BMW shaft drive? I imagine that's a little bit of something to get used to.
It's easy, really. It's just exactly the same as the chain, but you do feel that there's more of a solid connection. There's no backslash when you go on the throttle and then back off. It's just an instant sort of feeling of connectivity to the back end. So, I mean, I think it's a good thing. I think there's pros and cons to having chains. I think a lot of the BMW crowd, much like Andy GSA Tractor in the side there, he's very much onto shaft drive now. But the problem is that if a chain goes wrong, you just change it, don't you? You know, chain and sprockets, job done. If that shaft drive goes wrong, even on mine, then it's 500 quid before you even start anything. So that's a lot of chain and sprockets.
Yeah, I've only ever had one shaft drive bike, and that was a Honda VT500E.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing with that was if you're coming from a chain, it's a little bit easier to lock the rear if you change down too soon.
Yes.
It could lock up at the rear a little bit, but
that does happen with mine a lot as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably not ideal on a cold day if it's a bit of frost on the road or something. You have to be very careful, I would imagine.
Yeah. I must admit, with it being a non-ABS model as well, it does give me the EBGBs a bit with the front end because it's such a heavy bike anyway. I think it's 238 wet. But obviously, if something runs out in front of you, it's just human instinct to anchor on the front, isn't it? In which case, it would be easy to lock up and off ski.
Yeah.
Does concern me a bit. But
so Did they sell a lot of those bikes? It's not a bike that I'd say I was familiar with visually. I mean, obviously it's a boxer naked, basically, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
not.
exactly that. They did sell quite a lot more of the 1100 as opposed to the 850. Apparently, the 850 is a lot smoother than the 1100 fueling wise. There are ways you can program it, the 1100, to smoothen out a bit, but it wasn't a popular bike purely because it's BMW money. And even at the time in 1998, I think there was around 10 grand, something like that, which now is like 18, 20 grand, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, they weren't very popular for that reason, really.
And do you do dealer maintenance, or do you try and do it yourself
No, I do it myself and cock it up and then send it into the garage.
to fix it?
Yeah, I have actually got
Same.
a video coming up where I did the valves and then I needed to balance out the throttle bodies. So I've got me throttle, dials and all that to make sure they're pulling at the same time. And for some reason, I just couldn't get it right. It was popping back. It was too lean and then it was too rich. And it went on for about, I don't know, I must have spent 4 days on it altogether. And in the end, I gave up and took it to the garage and they sorted it out. But even now, I'm still not happy with it. But the thing is that I have to remember that it is an older engine. It's not like the new BMWs where it's all, it is proper agricultural, that bike.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but I'm trying to treat it like it's a new bike, but I need to kind of relax a bit on that, really.
Yeah.
But I've got
You're
a
the,
video
you're,
coming up about that.
yeah, you're the kind of customer mechanics love. You trade a bike in and deliver it with a box of bits and go, yeah, yeah. Could you
Please put
make
it back
that work
together.
again?
Yeah. Or have you got the instructions? Yeah.
Well, that's what.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a nice bike, that BMW, and it's let's say it's got quite a bit of character as well. But yeah, there are things that I don't like about it. And one thing which I have learned as well is apparently they're meant to be fine on E10 petrol.
Right.
But in fact, mine was running like a bag of spanners on E10. And I tried E5 just as a last resort. Oh, I'm going to give up now. And I tried it on E5 and it's like the heavens opened, and it just ran really, really well then. So yeah, I'm glad I got that done and found that out. But as I say, I've wasted so much time on it. It's hard for me to start enjoying the bike properly as I did do before because it's just been a bit of a pain in the what's it, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Got a
Not
couple
good.
questions in the side there, Gary.
Um,
Did
Steve,
not
are you an
teaching you?
all-season? Hang
Sorry,
on,
mate.
Steve. Are you an all-season rider? Well, presumably you are.
I am. Yeah, I must admit, as I've got older, I'm starting to not enjoy riding all year round. But yeah, I do pretty much ride all year round because obviously I've got the loan bikes as well. So yeah.
Hello, Yvonne. Happy birthday, Yvonne.
Oh, happy birthday! Is it?
Yeah, happy birthday, Yvonne.
Yeah.
What other questions have we missed?
Don't know.
Not too many.
Howie's in here as well. Do you know Howie, Gary? Howie
Yeah, I do.
702.
Yeah, yeah. I've
Yeah,
stumbled
he's
across
a,
it.
he's a laugh, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah. No, I think we're all right, aren't we? If anyone's got an urgent question, I know Mark asked how old Ruby was, and I did answer in the chat. Ruby is 7, and she's snoring away somewhere in the background. Happy birthday, Yvonne. Thank you, Maurice. That's very kind. I'll just put that up.
Gary, I've got a question for you. How do you actually buy sausages for Ruby? Is it through the buy a coffee link or?
Yeah, basically, people donate the money, and then I buy sausages when I go shopping.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean Ruby does think there should actually be a buy me a sausage page where they actually deliver sausages. I think that would cut out the middleman. That would be more convenient.
Yeah.
So that's something else she's working on, as well as her research into AI sausages. She's
Oh
also
yes,
considering doing a startup, internet startup with Buy Me a Sausage. She
she's
thinks
very
that could
clever, isn't
work
she?
well. Oh, she's awesome. Yeah, she needs
Mm.
lots of sleep to have come up with these brilliant ideas, which is why she's snoring.
Yeah.
Has anyone ridden there? What's this? Has anyone ridden a classic 350 at 55 in fourth gear? I've done it twice now and worried. Mm. In fourth gear, they'll do the top speed. They'll do 72 miles an hour. You can choose because there's very little difference between fourth and fifth. So, what would be the problem at 55? What was your issue with that? In fourth gear, it should go up to 70 miles an hour, no problem. You're revving the nuts off it, but it will do it.
Hmm. Yeah, I wonder what that is. Done it twice and no worried.
Yeah.
Oh, that's-
Oh, right. You did it by accident. Are you still running in? You might still be running in. Maybe he didn't
I see.
intend to push it that hard. But yeah, that's not a problem. That's still a fair way from the rev limiter. Oh, the seat was vibrating. Hmm.
What's your
Well,
thoughts on hard running, Gary? Have you done that with any of your bikes?
no, I'm too chicken. I
Right,
was
because
brought up old. I
if
was
I've ever had a new
brought up old
bike or
school.
new van or whatever, I've always done a hard run in, and I've never had a problem. But
Right. Yeah. I mean, the trouble is, the best way to run in really would be kind of in a city where you're constantly stopping and starting.
yeah,
But because where I live, basically there's no traffic, so every ride I go, um, you're up to sort of 80 k's straight away, and then you stay there. So I do
hmm,
try to run in, but for me, running in basically means just don't rev it too hard.
yeah,
I'm not able to vary the speed because these are fast roads. There's no traffic. There's no reason to stop and start. So the bikes just have to deal with that. There's not a lot else I can do. But I'm just conscious that I don't rev them out until they're kilometre level where they're allowed to be revved out. So I just try and keep the revs down as much as possible. You
yeah.
know.
See, I was speaking to somebody at the ABR festival, and he was saying that they go over to France and Spain quite a lot, and they said it's really strange coming from the UK where every road is pretty much rammed, and then you go to like mainland Europe and it's just empty roads, which is hard for me to imagine that really. Certainly being
Mm,
down here.
yeah. Yeah. No. Busy wave. I wouldn't 55. That's about 90 k's. The seat was vibrating. Well, it's going to vibrate a bit because it's a single, but I mean, it shouldn't be bad. At 55, you've still got a little way to go. Um, I don't know. It all depends what you're used to. I mean, I used to have a Bullet 500, so any other bike is going to be smooth after that. So I don't. It's hard to tell whether your vibrations are normal or not. Really, I don't know.
Thing is, as you know,
55.
Gary, you're going to get vibrations, and after about 1,000 miles, it starts to peter out a little bit. But you need to give it a bit of a thrashing, really, to get rid of those vibrations, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gradually increase the revs as you add more kilometres during the running in period. Let it
Hmm.
go a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher, just so it gets used to running at those higher speeds. But
Is it
yeah.
after 600 miles or 1,000 miles that you can just?
Mm, well, in my experience, like with the 350s, they were still improving at 2,500 kilometers. They improved up to
Mm,
about three and a half. So
hmm.
that's about 2,000 miles. So I would say the 350 certainly, 2,000 miles, they're still improving. So
When you say
I don't
improving,
know.
what you mean more power or just smoother?
Yeah, more torque mainly. They hang on to a gear better up a hill, whereas
Oh,
before you
right.
drop down a gear, as they get better, they'll go up there in top gear. I don't know with the Himalayan people. I think people are saying that the Himalayan doesn't need quite as long to run in. But I'm thinking I'm coming up to 1,000 miles now, so I'll probably do about 1,500 miles, and then I'll assume that that's probably running. I don't
Yeah.
know. If anyone's got a Himalayan saddlebags, maybe you could tell me at what point does a Himalayan feel properly running. What else have we got going on? I know what I was going to ask you. Yeah. So obviously you ride a lot of bikes as part of your channel. Um, if money was no object, and you could have any bike at all, what would be your dream bike to go out and buy?
Yeah. Okay. Can I? How many choices can I have? Because I've got
Well,
quite a few.
you can have multiple, but I would say for a dream bike, we're talking expensive, like
Yeah.
something that normally you wouldn't consider because it's just too much
Okay.
money.
Yeah. Easy decision that is for me, and that is the BMW R 1250 RT. I took that bike out, the original generation, back in 2019, and it was one of those bikes which blew me away. To look at, they're a big chunk of plastic and metal, but it was that they're so nice to ride, and everything about them is smooth. Power delivery super smooth, really nice, and also if you open it up, it goes like a I don't know what. So yeah, for me, it's
Mhm.
definitely the BMW RT. I think the new ones are
Mhm.
around 20, start at around 24 grand. Oh yeah, there we go. Look, that's the 2019 model. So heck of a
Mhm.
beast of a bike,
Mhm.
but comfort wise and they're absolute joy to ride, and it will turn into a sports bike. At a flick of the wrist, it will go like stink. Absolutely
Yeah.
adore that bike.
Awesome.
But, can
Right,
I
and
add
then
to my dream garage, Gary?
yeah, if you had like limitless space and you wanted a bike that maybe was just like that intrigues you, that was just a bit of fun, maybe for the odd special ride on a weekend or something, just something a bit superfluous, what would that be?
Yeah. Again, I've got lots of choices in my head, but I think I would probably at the moment go for the classic 500, not the 350, the 500, because I like the low end pull
Hmm.
that
Yeah,
they give.
I saw Freddie Dobbs was giving them a lot of love. He said he's having a bit of a love in with Royal Enfields at the moment,
All
and
right.
he was in a dealership and he was looking at classic 500s, and they basically as expensive now as they were when they came out. Their prices are holding up really well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
you
holding
pay
their
about
price, aren't they?
you pay about 5 grand for one, which was what they cost when they so
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Is Freddie on about buying one, is he? Or
Well, he was sniffing about to buy a bike for this trip to Scotland that he was doing, and in the end, Royal Enfield managed to arrange a Himalayan for him because his Bonneville blew a spark plug out. It did the thread in the
oh yeah.
cylinder head,
Mm-hmm.
and he couldn't get that fixed in time, so he was stuck without a bike for this Scotland trip. And he was looking at maybe buying a cheap second-hand Himalayan or something, and then after the trip selling it because you won't lose that much, on a second-hand one in a short space of time. But in the end, while he was there, he was looking at the classic 500s and saying how much he liked them and that they were like, holding their price incredibly well. And,
Yeah.
yeah, I can understand why. I can understand why because they didn't make them for too long, and a lot of people that are interested in the 350, the classic 350, but they're kind of saying, yeah, but it's just not quite enough. For the roads that I have to ride, it's just not quite enough, which I can kind of understand. It's all right for me, but if I live somewhere surrounded by fast bypasses and motorways and things, if I had to ride those to get anywhere, it's possible that I might want something with a bit more acceleration and a bit more potential.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the 350 range failed on a fundamental test of mine, which is off the traffic lights in Exeter. Um, and it just didn't have enough to get away from the cars. If a car wanted to put its foot down, then it would just take me, and I'll be, they'll be there in my blind spot. So that was kind of a deal breaker for me because I was very interested in the 350 Classic at one time, as you know. Um,
Yeah.
but that's the only thing which, unfortunately, is just not enough. I need to feel like I'm getting somewhere because when I'm on a bike, I do normally need to get to somewhere, pretty
Mm.
quickly. So yeah, shame really, but the bikes themselves, I think they're brilliant. Yeah, brilliant bikes.
So that would be the one that you tested. That was the trials
Yes.
version.
That's right.
You prefer that over the classic version, which like Saddlebags has.
No, not really. No, that
Right.
was obviously the trails, wasn't it? 500
Yeah.
trail, is that what they call it? Trails, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Trials. Yeah. Trials replica.
yeah, if
Trials
I
replica. Trials replica. Yeah.
that's the
Factory
one.
trials replica. Yeah.
That's the one. If I was to get a classic 500, then I would want one with a pillion seat, so I could take I got 3 boys, so that
Right.
I like to take them out in the back. So I probably
Right.
wouldn't get one of them. And funny enough, I've been to the ABR recently, and they had that actual bike for sale,
Mm.
and it was $4,000.
Right.
Bearing in mind that when I tested that one, I think they were about 4,400. So
Yeah.
back in 2019, but
Yeah, like
that
convertible
was one of
bikes. Yeah.
those rides that I went on, and again, I guess I was blown away. It's a bit of a long story. I'd meant to be test riding a TRK Benelli. I went there. Apparently, the person he went and test rode it before me had dropped the TRK, so they couldn't let it out. So he said, "Do you want to try that?" And I looked at it and thought, "What the hell is that?"
Mm.
And again, it took me a long time to get used to, because they don't rev very high, do they? And it takes a bit of recalibration to get used to the gear change and all that. But I literally felt like I was going back in time when I was on that bike.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
look at that background there, I was literally I felt I was in 1950 Starcross Dawlish,
Mm.
Exeter, there. And it had a massive impact on me, that bike.
No, that's brilliant because it came across. I watched that video recently, and it came across that you really appreciated just how different it was,
Yes.
and that it just gave you a special feeling to
It was
ride.
magical to me. It was honestly
Yeah.
magical. I've never ridden, in fact, since I've never ridden anything that gave me what that classic 500 did. And one thing I'm very scared of actually now is that if I tried one again, would I lose that memory? Would it be different? And I don't want to
Yeah.
lose that memory.
Yeah. Because you were coming at it for the video, you were coming at it from a position of not knowing what to expect. Now you might
Yeah.
ride it, and you've ridden things like the classic 350, you've ridden other kinds of bikes in a similar vein. You might go, oh yeah, but it's a bit lumpy. Oh yeah, I
Yes.
don't know if I could
Vibrates.
deal with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they were really good bikes. I think they were the first Royal Enfields to be built in the new factory. I really wanted one when they came out, but I was having such a nightmare with my Bullet at the time that I just
Yeah.
couldn't really bring myself to buy another Royal Enfield because I feared it would be the same. But I haven't heard any bad things about the Classic 500. And as I say, they did build a new factory, and I think that was the start of their improvement in precision and quality in the bikes that they were building. Because after the Classic 500, you had the Himalayan, and
Yeah.
basically all the bikes since then have been as good as anybody else's. They've not had major quality control issues. I suppose
Ever
the
since
classic
they
250.
turned EFI, I think that EFI was the big turning point for them.
Well, that's interesting, actually. I was going to say that because my Bullet was actually, a lot of people probably don't realise, but because I badmouth my Bullet a lot, my Bullet 500, but you have to realise this was a Bullet 500 Classic, which in the early 2000s meant it was a British spec Bullet 500. So it had twin drum brakes. It had the gearbox on the right-hand side with a four-speed gearbox with an upside-down shift pattern. It was built exactly as the bikes that went over there originally were built. It was that spec. And they were phased out in 2004, I believe, because that engine wouldn't meet the emissions.
Oh, I
But when
see.
I bought that bike, I bought it because I wanted the authentic British riding experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, but at the time, they already had other models. They had EFI models. They had things like the Thunderbird and the Bullet Electra. The Bullet Electra had the EFI. It had a front disc brake and had an electric start. So they were already building EFI bikes, and it was obviously a quite heavily modified engine. And I think those bikes were probably okay by 2004. They were probably okay, but the trouble was they knew that the classic British Bullet wasn't going to be sold much longer, so they weren't investing in new tooling or anything. And I think basically the production line for the old style bullets was using knackered, clapped out tooling, and so the
Yes.
tolerances were rubbish, and just that the bikes, they look nice, they did put a nice finish on them, and I think that was the only thing they worried about. But the
Yeah.
actual tolerances, the quality of the engineering was shite. It was terrible.
Yeah.
That bike was a nightmare. But it's quite possible if I'd have bought an Electra instead, I'd have been quite happy with it. But I don't know. But at the
Would you ever
time,
try again?
Sorry?
Would you ever try again with a
What, another
500?
bullet?
Yeah.
No,
No.
no, no. I've had a go on a Redditch 350, an original Redditch 350, and I much prefer the 350 version of the original bullet engine. Because
Right.
they ruined it, actually, by boring it out. They ruined it. It's because you've got that big old piston banging up and down, makes the whole thing very noisy and very vibey. And the 350 is lovely. It's like a little sewing machine. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's a lovely engine, that is.
I
That's how
quite
it
like
should
the
be.
sound of the sound of the 500 though. I like that bum 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 thump.
Oh, well, yeah, I expect that, like, you're talking about the modern ones, which is
Oh,
a
sorry,
totally
yeah.
different
You're talking about
ballgame.
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that bike, yeah, that is definitely a special bike for me. It hasn't left me. There's not a day goes by where I don't think about getting one of those bikes for sure. Yeah, I'm even looking at it now thinking, nice.
Hi, James.
Yeah. There's a high chance I might. James is off, is he?
No, he's just posted a comment just saying hi to James.
Oh, hi. I think it said bye. Right. Hi, James.
No,
Yeah, that not a day bike goes by where I don't think about a classic 500. As I say, that little ride, an afternoon, probably 3 or 4 hours, utterly, it made me feel like I felt when I was a kid racing around a field on a TE50 Suzuki.
Yeah.
You know, that feeling of, oh my God, this is great. And that's exactly what I got from that one. Not fast, it's not anything, but it's just something about it.
Yeah, you mentioned that in your review that you'd spent your whole lifetime trying to find a bike that reminded you of the very first time you got on a bike and the excitement of that moment, and that the classic 500 gave you that feeling once again. Yeah.
Quite right. I forgot about that. Yeah, I did say that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So yeah, I mean that's an achievable goal, isn't it? I guess like most of us, you've probably just got a space problem. You know, you can't keep.
I've got the space, but it's
right.
that space gets moved around a lot. You know, I've got things going in and out. Obviously, my day job is a tradesman, so having to move 2 bikes around is a bit of a pain. But having to move 3 quadruples that pain. So yeah, I've just got to work out a way of, you know, maybe sell the BMW. That's possible, but again, I like the BMW. It's hard to get rid of any bike, isn't it? But yeah, we'll see. I think it's going to happen one day. I do think it's going to happen one day.
I like Stefan's take on it. The 500 has a piston with the bike going up and down around.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a good one. Nice one. Yeah. Yeah. So that was so right. So yeah. So do you think one of those is in your future?
I'm 90% sure that it's going to happen one day.
Yeah, I'd love one actually. I'd love one. I'm gutted that I missed the boat, but I was going through such a nightmare with that bullet. I just couldn't. I couldn't imagine that the classic 500 was going to be such a completely different animal, but apparently it is. It's a reliable
to be honest,
bike.
If I had all those issues that you had with your Royal Enfield, I don't think I'd go Royal Enfield ever again. Yeah, because you had a nightmare time, didn't you?
Yeah, when I was thinking of getting a Himalayan before I bought the Meteor, everyone was going, well, friends and family were going, you don't buy another Royal Enfield. Don't buy another Royal Enfield. You did it once. Look what happened.
Yeah. and they got two.
And then I bought the Meteor and it was brilliant. And I've got the Himalayan, which so far, touch wood, has also been brilliant. So, yeah, they've definitely they've definitely come on a long way.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'd be interested to know actually whether the Bullet Thunderbird and the Bullet Electra, so they were being built at the same time as my classic Bullet, but with the more modern engine with the EFI and everything. Whether they were any good, I've never heard about those. I've never heard any feedback. So if anyone's ever had one of those or knows someone that had one, let me know whether they had a nightmare as well or whether those bikes were actually quite good. Because I think they would have been built on a different line again, so they would have probably not been beset with the same problems that, the bikes that were being built on the line from the 1940s, like mine, were
I must
having.
admit, I never ever see any like older Royal Enfields at all. Some of the 350s maybe from the 60s or whatever, but now the
Yeah, that's
Electra and all
true.
that, they
The
always
Electra
seem
and
the
the
sort of
Thunderbird, no, you don't see them about at all. No, and you do see the odd bullet, but usually the bloke riding it looks mildly depressed,
yeah.
or he's pushing it.
Yes, yeah. And I guess at the time when they first come out, it was very much like the 90s, and that was very much sports bike bias, wasn't it? Whereas now it's adventure bike bias. It was sports bike back then. So yeah, the contrast between like a Bullet, for example, and a sports bike are two different things, aren't they? So yeah, it was just different times, I guess.
Yep. So I'll just check the chat for a minute if we've got anything we haven't responded to that needs a response.
I'm going to open another beer, I think. I think it's come to that time.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You've had a stressful evening. You've finally come out.
Yes.
Everyone knows that you're Steve.
Yeah.
But
Somebody's taken the bottle opener. Put it somewhere.
our real men use their teeth.
Yeah. You want to use my teeth on that? That might be a bit of a problem. Where the hell is that? How many have you got on there, Gary?
19.
19. That's good going. Thanks to my lot who've come across
19.
as well, by the way.
Yeah, we're just checking the comments again. Yeah.
I expect if my lot here weren't here, Gary, you probably have about one or two, I expect.
Yeah, there's a few.
Yeah, that's you joking.
Well, I've certainly got more than the 4 people that said they wanted me to do a live show.
Yeah.
So that's
it's always nice, isn't it? It's really nice when people make the effort to show up and watch your show.
Yeah, Howie says that's one heck of an exhaust on the 500. It is, but that's the trials exhaust. I think it looks quite smart the way it slopes up like that. It's kind of cool. But yeah, it is a big old lump.
I'll tell you what, though, you'd never want to take that bike trialing. I'll tell you, it was a
No, that would be such a shame, especially now you know that they hold their value so well. It'd be terrible if you dropped it, wouldn't it? God, and probably all of the parts you won't be able to get anymore because that was a very limited run, that model. So if you needed any bespoke part for that model, probably no chance of getting it. So if you did drop it, that'd be a nightmare.
Yeah. Apparently, parts for Royal Enfields at the moment is a real nightmare. So I hear. I don't know what it's like over your way, but
well, that was one of the things that they annoyed me with actually, because when I was looking, when I had the Bullet, I needed a new rear light, number plate rear light plate assembly thing, because on mine the welds had cracked and the indicators had fallen off, and so you had this sort of a triangle thing with the light on it and the holes for the indicators, and on mine the holes where the indicators attached, that was all ripped and everything fell off. And so basically I just needed this rear light assembly, and then I would have fitted the rear light and the indicators and I'd have been good to go. So I got onto Hitchcock's and they went, nah, don't exist, you can't get them.
Really?
And I said, what's that all about? Because the bike wasn't that old at the time. And they said, apparently by EU law, they're only obliged to supply parts for 7 years or something. I don't know exactly how long. And they said after that, once the parts are gone, they're gone. They don't make any more. That's it.
Yeah.
So, that was a part that I couldn't get. So we ended up having to drill holes in the mudguard and make our own arrangement, which probably looked better in the end. But that really annoyed me, actually, because I thought, well, it's only a 7-year-old bike and you're telling me I can't get original parts for it.
I was just going to say, I think the regs say that it's 5 years, but I could be wrong there. But 5 years is no time at all, is it? Because normally they're still selling the same bike anyway. So, I don't agree with that, but it's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what I'm really interested to hear about is obviously your channel. Presumably, when you started, it was intended to be a test ride channel predominantly. You're not just motor
No,
vlogging, or what
no.
was the plan?
My story with it really. How far do I go back? Really, I had a channel before which was just under my name, and I would test ride bikes. I've always had a real hunger for trying different
Was that the
bikes.
Exmouth biker channel? Yeah.
Exmouth bike, that's the one. Yeah, you got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, it got about 10 subscribers, and I thought this is rubbish because obviously what people forget is that it's only the last sort of probably since about 2018 when cameras have become good enough to be able to film on a bike. You know, we had HD back then, didn't we, in 2018? 4K
Mm.
was something which was way down the line, which was never going to happen. And I was doing all these test rides, I was taking videos of them, and bring for an yeah. Oh, monkey bike. That's another bike I like, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I love one of those as well. Love them. Brilliant
oh,
bike.
fantastic. And yeah, so I forgot what the question was, Gary. What was the question? Didn't take long, did it?
Yeah, you weren't intending it to be a test and review channel
No.
originally.
I started like everybody else started, and I just wanted a diary of my rides and the places that I visit. And it's just a bit of fun, really. The riding of the different bikes is something that I've always enjoyed doing. I've always really had a real hunger for trying different bikes, and I think as soon as I started to film one or two, you know, that just tends to start rolling, and then in the end, you just get a bit of a get the ball rolling, and it just becomes a really enjoyable thing to do. And as time's gone on, obviously I work with some manufacturers now as well, and yeah, it's just something that I've always enjoyed doing. I really enjoy the whole creative process of making a video. That's my fundamental thing. That's why I really like doing it. And also, I like meeting different people, meeting you, meeting Saddlebags, and all the other guys and girls. That is a massive thing for me as well. You know, all the people that I've met doing the
Yeah,
YouTube thing.
it's great because you get to have like the whole social aspect. You get to have all of these friends.
Yeah,
You don't actually have to have them around your house.
no, no. Well, it's like me and you. You know, I consider you a friend. I'm probably, I may never meet you, which is a horrible thought, really, but I hope I do. But, you know, I know that I could call on you anytime if I've got a problem, and you'll be there
Yeah,
straight away, and vice versa, you know?
yeah,
And that's what
yeah.
life is all about, isn't it? Yeah,
Oh,
people. It's about people.
talking about helping, I just let everyone know that you have helped me quite a bit when I was starting out. Either giving me a subscriber boost or giving me some technical information.
Yeah.
And you've also helped me set up the stream today. It's the first time I'm doing this. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, and the reason actually the main reason why you're on the show, apart from being a top guy and an awesome vlogger, is the fact that actually when I was talking about possibly doing a live stream, you were more excited about the idea than I
I
was.
was. I was.
So I thought, oh well, if I do one, then you, as a punishment, you have to come on the show. So yeah,
Yeah.
basically, you talk
Yeah,
me into it. So
absolutely.
now you're here.
I was pushing you because I knew that you could do it, and I knew that if
No,
you were going to struggle, then I'll pick up the pieces. But actually, I haven't had to pick up anything. You're smashing it, Gary.
yeah, I'm
So
just
yeah,
not
make
very.
sure you do more of these.
I just need to tidy up my hard drive a bit. I think, make sure I don't bring in too many
Yeah.
inappropriate pictures. Yeah.
How many people have you met then doing this? Have you got any vloggers where you are? Or
No, not really. It tends to be Spanish language. I think the vlogging community in Spain they will all be Spanish
mm,
channels, and yeah, I could do it in Spanish, but then I'd have to do everything twice. That's one of the things that actually bugs me about YouTube is you can do subtitles, but you can't do two audio tracks. You know, because for me, I could do one video in English now,
yeah,
post it, and then duplicate it, or just do an audio track where everything I said in that video I could say it in Spanish or in
right.
German,
Hmm.
and that way I could reach people in 3 different languages.
Yeah.
But the whole subtitles thing, I did that for a few videos translating, but it was such hard work. It was
Yeah, I
really
bet.
hard work. Yeah, because you have to get the text that you're typing, that you're speaking, and then you have to give it the right timestamp, and and then
Oh,
obviously,
what a pain.
yeah, and also in some languages, something you can say in English in 3 words.
Hmm.
In German, it might be 12. So you've got like a second in the English version for these 3 words, and then in that same second, you've got to flash up 12 words in another language, and
Yeah.
then the next words come. So it's only on the screen for a short. It was just a nightmare trying to get everything to work. So I just gave up on the idea. But I would
I
like, if I had the option, to do a second audio track so that people could select, and then I just have to do the whole soundtrack again in English or
I
German.
reckon that will happen in time. I think that AI might play a big part in
Oh,
translation.
that's true. Yeah, I could get a comedy voice. Yeah, like I'm on helium or something and
Yeah.
speaking Italian.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
awesome.
I know some of the really big channels, Mr. Beast, for example. He does a lot of, sort of kids films and stuff like that. But he has a multi. I don't know how he does it, but he does all of his videos in like 80 different languages. So he literally
Mhm.
covers the whole world, which is fine if you've got an editing team and a full-time, setup there. But yeah, it's definitely a good idea if they could do that for sure.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, because I was thinking that when I started my channel, I was thinking actually that I would do some test rides. But of course, at the time, I didn't really realise that in Spain it's very difficult. Dealers don't usually have demo bikes; they just have bikes for sale, and that's it. You
Hmm.
can't take them out. You just got to look at them. Don't touch. Just look at them and then buy them. So, because initially I was thinking I could see that these Chinese brands are going to come, and that they're not always going to be terrible, and
Mm.
it would have been really interesting to try lots of these coming brands that are in the kind of lower end price segment,
Yeah.
because that's really where I'm at. Because I think if we want to get people onto bikes, not everybody's going to be prepared to spend 15 grand on their first bike. So um,
Yeah.
if people can get a nice bike for say 4 or 5 grand, brand new with a warranty, that's
Yeah.
awesome. And that's what Royal Enfield are doing with the little bikes. And hopefully Triumph now, that was mentioned in the comments with the 400s. I'm really interested in the Triumph 400. If, it's all going to come down to price
Mm.
on that, because they might get greedy. I think they could sell it because it's made by Jazzle, was it in India?
In India.
Jazzle?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I reckon they could sell that for 5 grand, and they clean up, because that would price it right where the Chrome Classic 350 is. So it
Yeah.
would do really well at 5 grand, but I think they're going to be a bit greedy and go, there's not enough margin in that for us. They're going to want towards 6. So if they don't come
Yeah.
in under 6, I think they're going to struggle, because when you get up to 6, you're kind of almost in the Royal Enfield twin price range. Then you're looking at interceptors almost then,
Yeah.
and this is only a 400
CB500s.
single. Yeah, it's a 400 single. So I think the sweet spot is going to be 5.5. If they came in at 5.5, I'd
Mm.
really like to get one and ride it for a year and see how it holds up,
It
because that's
also
what we don't.
depends. Sorry,
Yeah.
mate. I don't mean to
What
interrupt.
we don't know is how they're going to hold up, because judging by the little bits of press that we've seen, the build quality is good. They look really nice. And of
Hmm.
course, Triumph's going to make sure that when they build them, in India, they do look nice
Yeah.
on the showroom floor next to all of the expensive Triumphs. They have to look nice. Otherwise, it's like the poor people's corner, and this is for everyone else. So they
Yeah.
have to look nice, but are they going to be durable? This is the thing. They might have a nice initial finish, but is it going to be durable? Is it done to a price to the extent that after a year or two they start looking tatty?
Yeah.
So I'd be really interested to see, A, what they're going to charge for them, and B, how durable they are. Do they look nice when they're new, or are they built to a decent standard? So like the Royal Enfields that can stay nice for a longer time.
Yeah.
So and I'm really happy that I actually like both bikes. I wasn't sure. I mean, I knew they were coming, and I really wanted to get one, but I thought, oh, if it's a horrible looking thing, I don't care. Even if it's for the channel, I'm not going to be seen on it. I don't want to be seen on it. But
Yeah.
actually, I like both of them. But I think the 400X Scrambler looks really good in that khaki green.
Yeah.
I could definitely see myself riding one of those for a while. And it's also a nice. If it comes in at that kind of price point, 5.5, it's a great option for people that would have liked the classic 350, but are saying it's just not quite enough for the roads that I
Yes.
have to ride. Because the 400, being liquid cooled, it's got almost twice the horsepower. It's got 40 horsepower.
Yeah.
So it'll be really fine, even though it's a small capacity 400. It'll be fine on fast roads, So that would be a really versatile bike, and they look smart. And it's a Triumph, which also is another, aspirational brand. So I think they could do really well, but it will come down to price. And of course, they'd be mad if they don't do a Bonneville style bike with that 400 engine, because that really would clean up, because that would be direct competition for the classic 350. It'd be the same type of bike, but more capable, bigger engine, more capable, double the horsepower. I think they'd sell a ton of those. But the only downside is being liquid cooled, you've got to put a radiator somewhere. So it's going to slightly not look classic, but
depends how much they want to sell that Triumph badge for as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
they do live off of that badge quite often.
Yeah.
400's in a bit of a funny range, really. It's kind of no man's land, isn't it? Between when you think you've got the Trident 660, which is a fantastic machine, that's only $7,000, I think, if I remember correctly. It might be more than that now. But it sits in a bit of a funny place, really. And also in the UK, obviously the tax for a 400cc, I believe, is 45 quid, something like that. So they're going to be in a good tax bracket as well. But it'd be interesting to see what happens. So who would buy it, though? What type of person would buy that? Why would they buy that and not buy a 650? That's my question. Like 650 BSA or Interceptor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously the things like the Scrambler, that's a different kind of a market, isn't it, to the people that like classic looking bikes?
Yeah,
the Scrambler's like your hipster bike. You've got to get a hipster beard, and you ride it around in the city looking cool with your open face helmet on and your shades. So I suppose if you're into that kind of hipster vibe, then Royal Enfield doesn't currently have a bike to scratch that itch, I guess. And the thing is, if they're priced competitively, they got more performance than the Royal Enfield singles. So that will appeal to people that think, well, I quite like a Royal Enfield. I like the way they look and everything, but I have to ride to work and I have to ride on the motorway for 20 minutes there and 20 minutes back every day, and it's just too slow. I'm going to feel like I'm at risk riding it. I think there's a market, but I mean, for Triumph, it's really important to get people into the brand. Obviously, I expect a lot of older people that return to motorcycling, they're going to probably have an affinity for Triumph, like they have for Royal Enfield. So they'll probably try one. And up until now, really, the entry level for Triumph, like you say, was like $7,000 or more, which is a lot of money to spend if you're not sure whether you're going to like it or not. Motorcycling. So I think
Triumph have always been
good.
They've always been far too slow on bringing out a 650 or a bike that's below the T100, which was that 900cc, I think, isn't it? Was it 800? No, 900. They've always been slow at picking up things. And when the when the Royal Enfield Interceptor first come out, everybody was saying, "Oh, it's not going to be a Triumph, is it? This, that, and the other. It's not going to do well. It's going to fall to bits." I took one out on a review back in 2018. I think it was one of the first reviews on YouTube, and I got slated for it. The amount of, comments, people saying, "Oh, it's going to fall to bits in 5 years." Believe me, they'll be gone in 5 years. And they've absolutely smashed it, haven't they? Every year on year. So it's really, it's always been competitive out there, but it's starting to. I think the manufacturers are trying to catch up with people like Royal Enfield, even Honda with the Hornet, $7,000. It's a really good bike. They're trying to squash those others that are coming in through the back door a bit.
Yeah.
It's good times, really. It's good times for the consumer.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Royal Enfield has kind of shaken the marketplace up quite a bit now, because other manufacturers are having to say, okay, the people selling the most bikes at the moment globally are selling bikes in this price range, not up here somewhere, but around here. This is where the money is, and hopefully we'll get more bikes that are kind of adequate rather than excessive, and instead of more and more power, more and more gizmos, just give people an entry level, and then if they like it, they can buy one of your posher models later on. But globally, well, not globally, but certainly in the West, motorcycling's kind of dying out. Young people aren't really interested in it, and the less barriers to entry we can have, the more chances there are that the motorcycle manufacturers will continue to sell bikes, in 10 years' time. They've got to do something, because we'll all be dead. Well, 10 years, maybe not. Me probably.
Touch wood.
Me probably. Cheers. Yeah, rock and roll. So where are the next customers going to come from? And I think you can't say to people, right, entry level bike from Triumph, $7,000. If you just passed your test and you're not sure whether you can live with a motorbike, you might want a car after all. If you can try a bike for a year for $5,000 and then sell it after a year and for $4,000, it's cost you $1,000 to find out whether a motorbike is enough or whether you need a car.
Yeah. I wonder what you'd be riding now if it wasn't for Royal Enfield coming back again.
I wonder what you'd be.
I wonder what
what I would be riding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did have a Street Triple R, so I was already in the Triumph family. So I'd have probably stuck with Triumph. But the thing with Triumph is they've got more and more expensive. Every bike gets bigger. Like the Bonneville went from being just under 800cc, it got bigger and bigger, didn't it? Now the smallest one's like 900.
T120,
Yeah, so just bigger, more expensive, more of a commitment, and more money sat in the garage, losing value when you're not using it. That's the terrifying thing. You spend $12,000 on a bike. I mean, for me, I'd feel like I have to ride it every day to even justify that.
I know what you mean.
Because every year it's going to lose $1,500 to $2,000 in value. So it needs to be doing something.
Yeah. Howie makes a good point about Triumph failed to get into the 125 market. That's never made sense to me why BMW don't tackle that. And who else have we got? Well, Royal Enfield. They're not. They don't make a 125, do they?
I mean, I would imagine that is probably intended, because Bajaj probably have a whole range of 125s, and it wouldn't take a massive leap for them to do a bit of badge engineering on one of their bikes and call it a Triumph and have them made in India and then bring them over. Definitely. I mean, obviously, presumably it's not a huge market. That's probably why it's not being done. Because the Japanese probably have got that sewn up with the Yamaha and the Honda 125s. They seem to sell very well. But yeah, definitely. I mean, because that is your first introduction into motorcycling. So why not get affiliated with a brand? So why doesn't Triumph have a bike that's a little bit sexy, a little bit different? That's a 125. But it's probably in their plan. I think that this is step one, is to do a budget bike, a budget range of bikes. And then I think step two will be really, let's get learners onto Triumphs. I think that will come because of this working together with an Indian manufacturer. It shouldn't be too difficult to work something out to
It's a
make
big
one of
risk,
their.
really, going into
Yeah,
that lower market that's not Triumph, the old
yeah,
British
but
made thing and all that, but they're made in
yeah,
Thailand anyway, so it's
but it's
what you
daft. It's daft though, isn't it? Because I mean, like if Yamaha and Honda are doing them, Honda will sell you a bloody gold wing. So they've got everything covered. I mean,
yeah,
just because you make cheap bikes doesn't mean to say you get a bad reputation. You
no,
still do quality bikes higher up the range. It's not a problem. So
yeah,
yeah, definitely, I'd like to see Triumph bring out 125s.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Lance is asking me, did I move that rock? He's referring to the rock that I nearly face planted on when I fell off Norman. He said,
Oh,
did go up there again and move that rock?
you should take
No,
it
I
home as a
haven't.
souvenir.
Yeah, no, I haven't been up there again since then. So no, it's still there. But
How are you
I
getting
should
on with
revisit.
Norman? You like doing the off-road stuff? You enjoying it?
Yeah, I don't know if you heard, but we have an off-road ban in the summer until October. I can't go off-road now because of
Oh no.
fire prevention, wildfire prevention. They don't
Mm.
want people driving vehicles up in the mountains where stuff could set light when it's dry.
Well, that's a shame.
So yeah, so at the moment he's road only until October. But I'm itching for October to come now so I can get back out there. I've been
Yeah,
watching lots of off-road videos about different skills, so I've learned lots. I'm taking the time to learn a bit so that when October comes, I should hopefully be a lot more confident.
and hit a
And
rock. First ride out, bounce. That'll be it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And in the meantime, I'm enjoying having him clean for 5 minutes. I gave him a good wash, and he can stay clean now for a couple of months, apart from the flies.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'm enjoying him on the road as well. It's like the Himalayan with the luggage on it. For me, has now made my scooter superfluous. I put the scooter now at the back of the garage, so to get the scooter out, I would have to take all the bikes out
yeah,
to get the scooter out. Because I've just thought now, because the only reason I would use a scooter was like for running errands, because you've got a bit of storage space. So if I needed to get 2 or 3 things from the shop, or I needed to pop down the bank or the post office, grab the scooter, you got somewhere to put stuff, go.
yeah,
But I do that with the Himalayan now because I've got those 2 great big honking cases on there, and just wheel it out of the garage, nip down the bank, nip down the post office, go to the supermarket, grab 3 or 4 things, put them in the panniers. So basically now my scooter has been superseded.
yeah. All right.
Very,
Might be
it's
selling that
very
soon then.
yeah, it's a very practical solution. The Himalayan, it does a bit of everything. It's fun on the roads. I mean, I enjoy riding it on the mountain roads. I enjoy it off road, obviously, and it's just really useful for running errands. So
Yeah,
it's a really good all-in-one bike. If I could only have one bike, wouldn't be the worst choice. Which is actually just confirms what I was always thinking. I always wanted a Himalayan, but I ended up getting a Meteor instead because I was still saving up, and the Himalayan was a grand more than the Meteor. So I had the money for the Meteor now, or I would have to wait 6 months and then get the Himalayan. So I thought, well, I'll get the Meteor.
yeah,
So, but my intention was always to get a Himalayan. So I think I was right. Back then, I thought it would be a really good all rounder. And so it's proving to be fantastic,
yeah.
useful bike to have.
Mm-hmm.
Very useful bike
Good.
to have.
Excellent. A bit like my NC.
Yeah, yeah. But obviously, because you're obviously, successful YouTuber, you're raking in the millions. You can
The
afford these
money is
things.
incredible. Yeah, it's
It
hard to
is.
know what account to put it in. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Mm.
No, it's shockingly
Don't
crap,
know what to
but
do.
yeah. Peaky, how was my head on Sunday morning? I met Peaky on Saturday night at the ABR festival. It was fine, Peaky. I only had 3 or 4 pints anyway, mate. So you were way ahead of the game from me, but it awesome to meet you, honestly. Really good
I've
to
got
meet
the
Peaky. He's
ABR.
a
I've got the
lovely
ABR
bloke.
festival on my bullet point list, but
Yeah,
just coming back to what I was talking about. Yeah, originally I wanted to do some test rides of these up and coming brands because they were all going to be cheap bikes. So I thought, yeah, that'd be quite interesting, be a bit different. I'm not interested in flashy bikes because I don't want to spend that much money. So I thought, yeah, we'll do that. But then I subsequently found out that nobody over here has demo bikes, so I'm kind of screwed. The only way I can test a bike is to buy it and
Yeah.
then ride it for a year and then tell people what it was like. So that's what I'm doing. My intention is to buy a bike, ride it for a year, talk about it, let people know whether it's good, bad, indifferent. Um, and any bike that convinces me in that time gets to stay. So at the moment, I've had Buddy now for 2 years. He's
Hmm.
staying because I like him so much. But there should be bikes coming and going all the time, and then they get a chance to prove themselves. But if after 12 months I'm like, you don't really do anything that the others don't do, I'll just move it on and get something else in that's equivalent, cheap and interesting. But what I was thinking was, actually, I'm glad now that I can't get test rides, because um, I just think it's an immense pressure, and that's what I wanted to ask you. uh, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? I mean, it's nice when a manufacturer drops a bike off for a week, but then there's no excuses. You've got to do content with it, whether
Yeah.
it suits you or not. It's
I'll be
pressure.
honest, Gary. Everybody says to me, "Oh, it must be wonderful having been able to try all these bikes and having." It's normally 3 weeks that I get each bike, or at least two, generally speaking, for the bigger reviews. Honda is normally 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Yeah, there's a lot of prep work that goes into the bike before, just setting up, knowing I write a sheet out where I'm going to do the walk rounds, when I'm going to do it, how long it's going to be, and the bullet points which I want to cover. But when those bikes come off the lorry, the pressure is on then, certainly with the British weather. You don't want to do a review when it's raining, so I've got to try and do each bit of filming between the weather. Each video that I film at least 3 times, I would say. So I do 2 walk rounds and then pick the best one, 3 rides in traffic, 3 rides on the motorway, and just see which one I prefer. For example, the recent Hondas that I've had to do the walk round 3 times, because the first time I realized that I wasn't filming in 4K. So I had to do the whole thing again, bearing in mind that that's nearly a day gone by the time you get to location and all the rest of it. So it's a lot of pressure. I mean, on my hard drive now, I've probably got about 500 gigs worth of reviews, which I've got to filter and edit. The more that time goes on, the better you get at editing, which also means it takes longer as well. Even though you become quicker, it takes longer because you can become better at it. So yeah, it is a lot of pressure doing reviews. I sometimes question, why do I bother doing it? And I guess I'm just trying to build the channel, really. I don't feel pressure now like I did to prior 10,000 subscribers to build the channel, but I still want to build it and keep it rolling. Because at the end of the day, if I said to Honda, for example, when they normally drop off 3 at a time, if I said to them, nah, I haven't got time, well, somebody else is going to get them, aren't they? So yeah, you start a bit of it's like any business. You either run it as a business or a personal thing. I run Exeter Rider as a business, always have done, right from the early days. And it's quite a successful business, even though the money isn't successful.
Yeah, yeah.
So to speak.
So when did you start with the Exeter Rider, with the camera, not Exmouth biker? Obviously, that wasn't successful.
That wasn't successful. No, that was
No.
just it was a bit crap, really. It's just me doing like a 5-minute walk round of a bike, in 720p. It's awful. So Exeter Rider started I think it was registered in 2018, but it didn't really start to film properly until 2019. It just lay dormant for a while. And then obviously COVID hit. That was a big thing as well. But during COVID, I don't know how I done it, but I was still able to make a video every week and keep everybody going through COVID. That was my thought. And then I thought, well, after COVID, I'll just go down to a video every couple of weeks or whatever. But in fact, for the last 2 years, I've kept it going every single week, which is a real, as you know, Gary, it's a lot of work, isn't it, to get these videos out. So, yeah, but I think maybe I'm thinking, I said this for the last 2 years, but maybe this winter I might have a couple months off just to recoup and do what I should be doing, a bit more of the day job. So should I say?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No, I mean, I just thought actually I'm relieved because I could imagine what it's like, because you're under pressure, and especially for you with your self-employed status and your family, it's like they'll deliver a bike, which is fine. You know, you've agreed the time frame for having the bike, but things can change, can't they? So the bike can turn up, and then you might have a family crisis, and
yeah,
obviously they might be understanding of the fact that you haven't been able to make a video, but you're very reluctant to take that chance because you think if I start pushing my luck, they're going to stop asking. They're going to just not bother.
oh, absolutely,
But
yeah,
so you feel obligated, really, and
yeah.
and and I imagine that I wouldn't enjoy that at all. I don't want to be obligated to do anything.
No, you've
No.
got to really want to do it. You know, the
Mm.
reviews for sure.
Yeah,
And again,
yeah,
every review, I always ask myself, why the hell am I doing this? You know, what am I doing? I'm away from work. I'm away from family. For what? For a couple quid on the video, you know. But it's the creative process that I like. That's what I live for, really. Um, Also, in the early days, you know, as you said earlier, kindly, that I was quite supportive with you. Well, in my early days, a lot of the bigger uh, channels were the total opposite. You know, they make out they were supportive, and then they just stab. Well, pretty much stab you in the back is the wrong word, but not far off it. So I've always
right,
said right from day one that in YouTube terms, I mean, if I got 12,000 subscribers now, which is great, but in YouTube terms, it's still a very small channel. That's nothing.
yeah,
So I've always
yeah,
said, unless you've got 500 subscribers or more, 500,000 subscribers or more, then we're all in the same boat. You know, that's the way I see you. That's the way I see, I don't know, Teapot One or whatever. We're all in the same boat. There's no hierarchy or anything else. But some of the vloggers, you know, are frankly up their own ass, which really, you know,
yeah,
just no need to be. There's no need for it because they're missing out what we like best about YouTube, about the people, you know, talking to you now. All those things
yeah,
they can't do because they're so far up their own ass.
yeah.
Am I
It's
right
true.
saying
I
that? I
mean,
don't mean to, you know,
well, it's
just
true. It's true as well. You know, I try to reply to every comment. As far as I'm aware, I have, but I might have missed the odd one because sometimes YouTube swallows them and never tells you that they swallowed them. But you know, for me, that's important because if people take the time to watch and then write a comment, that's what it's all about, isn't it? And then I know on these big channels, it's quite rare that people do that. And obviously,
mm,
on the one hand, you can say, yeah, but it's because they get so many comments. But actually, they get a lot of views, but they don't get that many more comments than I do for a
no,
video. You know, quite often they'll get a lot of views, but they don't get that many comments. But it's just like they don't bother answering. And then they say, oh, well, I do read them all. Yeah, well, that's something, I guess. But then again, prove it, you know. So yeah, I want to stay at a level where I can be involved with the people that watch my rubbish.
yeah,
You know, I don't want to say, oh, I'm too important, I'm too busy, I haven't got time for you, but and then still expect people to like and subscribe my videos. I mean, you know, um,
mm.
yeah, it's give and take, isn't it? And
I think at the moment, I think I'm right at that sweet spot where I can keep up with things, but like I release a video every Sunday, but it's getting to the point now where I spend an hour replying to comments, and it's getting quite difficult now because you still want that connection, but at the same time, it's hard to keep up with everything else that you got to do. But I'm going to keep doing what I do now for as long as I can. You know,
yeah,
that's the bottom
yeah,
line. And I've
yeah,
never loved doing YouTube more than what I do now. You know, because I'm doing the type of videos that I'm doing. For example, the videos that I've got coming up. I wish I could release them all in one hit, but I've got some uploaded at the moment, which involve other people, much like my recent one with Ice Diddy and the Hornet video, where I have a chat with him about his bike. And I love doing those videos, and I've got a few more coming up like that, where I talk to different people about their views on a test ride. For example, I went to ABR Festival, I rode one of the bikes, and then I talked to some of the people and see if we have the same view on it, which most of the time we did actually. But it's nice involving other people and bringing them into the channel rather than just me. That's
yeah.
something I really enjoy.
Yeah.
What are they saying? Name and shame. Nah. It's obvious anyway. Everybody knows, but no. The picky biker. No. Yeah. I'm gonna go. Do you mind if I'm just gonna have a quick wee and I'm gonna get the bottle opener because she's stolen it from me. Is that all right for a minute?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Because I'm on my second. Yeah. All right then.
Right.
Knock yourself out. I'll have a quick look at. I'll have a quick look at the comments. I'm not going to comment on who we're talking about, but yeah, I think just in general, it's nice if people take the time to write comments on your videos, that you interact with them, and I don't think, however many comments I get, I will always try and respond, and I don't know. Yeah, the bigger channels, they could argue they can't reply to all comments, but I'm not convinced. And also they could at least interact a bit more than they do. I've left comments on big channels before and been totally blanked. And you do think, well, I did ask you a question. I'm interested to know your opinion on it. And if you don't get a response, you kind of think, oh, well, should I bother? But anyway, yeah, Exeter Rider and myself, we do our very best to reply to comments, and we do appreciate them. I'd like to put that one on screen, Cornish Motorcycle Diaries, but I'm not going to do it. Apparently, you get more momentum from negative feedback. They would say publicity is good. Oh, really? Oh, I should be cleaning up then. Blimey. My favourite bike review was the Exeter Rider one of the Kawasaki W800. Oh, he needs to hear that. We'll put that up on the screen when he returns.
I just heard it. Was that
Oh, that's Cornish Motorcycle Diaries. Loved your W800 review.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Thank you, mate. I thought that was Lover of You. What's he called now? Blake's Pipes. That was one of his favourites. So he bought that W800 off the back of my video, which always amazes me.
Oh, yeah, lovely. Walter, that is true. That is true as well, isn't it? A lot of people that, and not you, but a lot of the bigger channels, they test the bike, and every bike they test is the best thing since sliced bread, because obviously they don't want to lose the bikes being delivered to their door.
You know what, though, Gary? Something I'm very conscious of is people always say to me, well, what happens if you find something that you don't like? I always say it. I always say what I don't like about a bike. I'm trying to think of an example now. But you just say it because the manufacturers know that no bike is perfect. They want to have a balanced review. The only bike that I've actually ever ridden that I've absolutely hated, I mean, I really hated it. I'd rather ride a push bike, was the Sinus T380. I don't think I got it across so well on video.
I think your hatred did come across. I'm pretty sure it did. I was left in no doubt that you didn't think it was good in any way.
I hope it did. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I mean, the suspension was like a pogo stick, I said. The side stand didn't work.
Did you get any blowback from that, from Sinus, or were they still happy with you?
I thought that was the end of my Sinus career. I thought that was the last one. And I did say to him, I sent him an email saying that, really sorry, but this is like, I couldn't stand this bike. And I think that you should pull it, really, because I think it's ruining the brand. Because the other Sinus bikes are, okay, they're all right. They're pretty good for what they are. And you know what? She sent one back saying, honestly, no problem, Steve. We fully understand. And that was your opinion. And that's absolutely fine. 2 months after I rode it, they pulled it from sale. So apparently it's because of Euro 5, but mine was Euro 5. So, I don't know what happened there.
It was because of you, let's face it.
Yeah, maybe.
They decided, if you don't like it, it must be rubbish. like how he says, are you reading that comment? There you go.
No, he's gone.
I have to say that he's the only reviewer I watch as he types.
Yeah. I try to cover everybody, really, Howie. I'm no expert. It's all my opinion at the end of the day, but I do try and review bikes for, and keep in mind that some people are tall, short, fat, thin, whatever. I try and cover every aspect because I don't think reviewing bikes is about me. Most of the bikes that I review, I wouldn't buy, but it doesn't mean that they're bad bikes. It just means it doesn't fit the criteria that I use bikes for. So,
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to try and be neutral about it, and look at
yeah,
it. For some people, it will be of interest. If it's not of
yeah.
interest to you, you can say that, but you can certainly point out its pros and cons, and then people can make their own decision based on that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Another
I,
one which was a
I
bit of a disaster was the which I worked with on with saddlebags was the Vogue 650 DS. The 500 is fantastic. It was actually better than the CB 500. But when they
right.
gave me the 650 DS, which is now distributed by Moto UK, the fueling on it was dreadful. It wasn't until it hit 3,000 that it kind of took off, because they basically had a Euro 3 engine modified to go to Euro 5. So, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work at all. But to look at the bike, it looks really good, but it's just the engine killed it. And, I mentioned about the fueling on that, and sure enough, that was picked up, and they didn't do anything about it, I don't think, but it was picked up. Another one I mentioned was the NC750X. I was the only person out there to mention that the fueling was really bad, to the point where it's really boggy, and it's basically the same engine, but they changed it to Euro 5 from Euro 4, and it just wasn't working. And sure enough, after my review, probably about 2 months after, they had a recall to put a new chip in the whatever it was to make the fueling different. So again, I was really pleased that I mentioned that, because no one else did. And I think that's one thing which I personally think I'm quite good at, is picking up the mechanical side of things. I'm not a mechanic, but I pick up, it's the sort of things that I look out for in a bike, is how they're put together, which is a difficulty when you're reviewing a electric bike, because there's no mechanicals at all. So, it's a bit of a shot in the dark with that. But yeah, anyway, it's quite a bone of contention, that one, because I do get asked a lot, and I was actually asked by another fair size channel when I was at the ABR festival. He said to me, what do you think of that bike? I won't go into who it was or what the bike was, because it will give it away. But he said, what do you think? And I said, honestly, it is a really, it really is a good bike for the price and for what it does. It was an adventure style bike. He said, oh, that's a YouTuber talk. Now, what is it really like, though? I said, oh, and then he saw then, I said, that is what it is. That is exactly what it is what I'm saying now. I've got nothing to hide, so. But yeah, it's a common question, and it's always one which I don't know how to describe it, but it's difficult, because you can only tell the truth from your side of it. But when people are questioning that, you feel like you have to question yourself, and you're thinking, well, am I telling the truth? But yeah, you are.
Yeah,
that's all you can say, isn't it? So
yeah. I mean, you said an interesting thing the other day that. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but there's an element of truth to it. When you hop on a bike, by the time you've got like half a mile down the road, you've already got a sense of it. I mean, you
yeah,
have, if it's a bike that you're never going to get on with, you'll know by then. If it's a bike you can probably get on with, you'll know by then. Or if it's a bike that just feels right, you'll know by then. I mean, those first few hundred yards do say a lot. I mean, obviously,
yeah,
there are certain things that only become apparent with more miles on the bike, and that may change your opinion. But certainly, first impressions are quite important. I mean, that really
yeah,
is the direction that the review goes in. Once you've tried it, you know straight away this is going to be a positive review. This is
yeah.
going to be a right for some people review, or this is a piece of shit. Don't
The
buy one.
Sinis T380, when that come off the van, I'll never forget it. I looked at it and thought, that is a class looking bike. I got into first gear, let the clutch out, and I instantly hated it. Every little
Mm.
bit about it, I hated that bike. So yeah, it's very true that. Yeah, you can tell straight away. Moto Morini, no, not Moto Morini. What's the other one? Moto Guzzi, Mandela. Again, I went off in first gear, hit it into second. I thought, I just knew straight away it was a nice bike. So yeah, and again, I used to get a lot of grief. People used to say to me, "How do you know what it's like after an hour?" I used to get this quite a lot from bigger YouTubes. YouTubers, and I thought, well, how do you know that I've had it for an hour? I normally get the bikes for 3 or 4 hours. Right nowadays, I get them all day if it's going to be from a dealer because they just struck up that relationship. But yeah, people used to really put down my channel saying, "How do you know after an hour?" Well, I haven't had it for an hour. I've had it for a lot longer than that. So, but yeah, that's just what the world was like back then. But luckily, I'm in a place now where I've got a bit of a support network with you guys and everything else where I can switch off from it. But back in the day, it does get you down. That's why I want to help. That's why I help people where I can. To you got to start somewhere. So yeah, help people where I can. So I do
Awesome.
get
Right.
on my soapbox about that one because that does get on my it's got.
No, I think everyone here and myself included, we like your reviews. I mean, you're actually I think you're the only channel whose videos I watch, even when you're testing a bike that I'm not even contemplating buying,
It's kind of
because
you,
of
yeah.
the one, there's entertainment value, and it's always nice to see your smiling face.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's fun. Like when you rode that CCM and
Yeah.
you just didn't care. You were just like, woohoo, yay, woo.
Yeah. See,
It just
that
really came
that was
across.
Steve coming out, and I'm trying to get Steve to come out a bit more. Obviously, I've come out tonight, which was a big one, wasn't it? But I'm
Yeah,
trying to get
we're all there
Steve
for
out
you,
more.
Steve. We're all
Yeah.
there for you, mate.
Thank you.
Great,
Yeah, I'd
great.
rather get Steve out than Exeter Rider, because Exeter Rider mode is normally in a place where I'm filming, but I've got to be back at work in an hour. I've got to get this shot out before it starts raining. Normally quite stressed and thinking of 10 things at once, but yeah, I was on full Steve mode on that CCM video for sure. Yeah, it's good fun, that bike like that.
Yeah, yeah. Right, so I was going to ask you now. You've just come back from the ABR festival,
Mm-hmm.
and you did briefly mention that you got to test a couple of bikes. Um, can you give us an exclusive of which bikes we might be seeing in the future videos?
Oh, Gary, that's a question, isn't it? I normally keep these things secret, but because this is your first live, I will let it out. Right, so I've got the ride in the Euro sidecar, which was cool. I've
Awesome.
got the
I
most.
bet that feels very weird, doesn't it? Riding with a sidecar.
I never ever understood sidecars. I couldn't see why anyone would want one or want to try one. Now that I've been in one, yeah, it's quite good fun actually, because you become part of the ride, which is what I wasn't expecting. You have to lean into the corners
Oh,
with the
right. You
ride
didn't
as
actually get
well.
to drive. You just got to
No,
passenger in it. Yeah, because I
yeah,
think to ride, that must be really weird. It just doesn't do what you want it to do.
no,
It
no.
must be
It's
weird.
got a special way of riding it, and yeah, it's quite complicated actually. He did actually run me through it, but have you ever been in one?
I've not been on or in one. No, that might
Yeah, they're
change.
quite an
I
experience.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
sorry.
do know. I do know of someone who has a combination, and it's possible that I might ask if I can at least have a passenger ride in one. So yeah, if I do, I should definitely put it on the channel. Be something a bit
Do it,
different.
mate. Honestly, it's good fun. It's good fun. I believe it or not, I've got the Euro in my dream garage now. That's gone into that stage. That's how much I liked riding it. But it's 22 grand or something like that. It was £800 for a spare tire for the sidecar, so
Yeah,
it's not very
yeah.
practical. But yeah, it's good fun. It's a good experience, and yeah,
Um,
I'm looking forward to that video coming out.
yeah, Scott was here. I did briefly see
Thanks,
a
Lily.
comment. I did see a brief comment from Scott from Pasadena. Got lost in the confusion, but he was interested in a Euro,
Oh
and
yeah,
I said, yeah, and I said, yeah, I wouldn't. I'd quite like. Well, I'd like any kind of a sidecar outfit, just so that Ruby could come with me because she loves motorbikes. I mean, she would absolutely come with me.
Gary, I've been
But
meaning to ask you this for a long time. Is there ever a point where Ruby will get a big back box and you'll stick Ruby in the back, or no?
um, Ainsworth Rider, he does his Royal Enfield owners club videos, and there's a couple of people there that do actually carry dogs in boxes on the back. But I think Ruby's just a bit too big. She's at 17 kilos, and that's a lot of weight to have up high.
Yeah.
And also, she won't be able to jump in and out on her own. I'd have to heave her up there, and I don't really fancy doing that. So, yeah, really, a sidecar would be ideal. If I could ever afford a sidecar outfit, that would be hilarious, because she would literally get her little flying helmet and goggles, and she'd be up for it, because she loves. Every time I get the bike out of the garage, she gets so excited. I mean, it might have to do with the sausages that come at the end. I don't know, but I'm telling myself it's the motorbike that she's excited.
Yeah. So what ratio is it? Is it like a 50-50 split with the sausages? So she gets 2 and you get 2 yourself? Or because I couldn't give away my sausages.
No, they're Ruby only sausages, because I really don't like Frankfurters at all. And the sausages I buy are Frankfurters, so no, I won't eat them if you paid me. But she likes them, so they're Ruby only sausages.
Yeah.
But so you had to go on a passenger on a Ural. Did you actually get to book a test ride as well?
No, you're not allowed to ride them up there.
No. I mean any other bikes that you tested.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Foch 300, Suzuki 800DE, Moto Guzzi Mandello, Ducati. I thought I was going to like the Ducati. I didn't really go much on that. Very choppy throttle, and it was off road as well. So, Fantic, which was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the Fantic. What else is there? Yeah, a couple off road video. Well, I say off road, it's more of a grassy field, but it was still good fun. But I couldn't get fast enough, Gary. There was people in front of me all the time, and I wanted to overtake them, because you're not allowed to overtake either, are you? So, but you'll see me get quite frustrated actually, because I'm like, come on, go, and they just weren't moving fast enough for me. So,
but people were overtaking hippo drones. I just watched his video tonight.
Yeah, I saw his today actually.
Yeah, he was getting overtaken. So some people were just ignoring that, were they?
I think so. I mean, they got a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit there, but yeah, I mean, a couple of the there's a few of them which do go a bit too fast, I would say. There was, every time I went out on that track, there was somebody go down and out himself, So yeah, there's a lot of people there. They did extend the tracks this year, which they needed to. It's a good idea. But yeah, there's always people falling off and stuff, which I've got a lot of that in my videos as well coming up. So it's good fun. If you ever come over here, Gary, try and tie that in with the ABR, because it'll be good. You'd enjoy that, I think.
Well, I was thinking that actually when I watched Hippo Drone's video. Yeah, I mean, if I was doing a trip to the UK, I would have to make it coincide with that, because it'd be good fun to take Norman over their tracks and see how I get on with him.
Do you know what I would eat? As I've said to many people, it's probably better that you don't take your own bike there, because if you bin it, then you're on your own. So it's better to ride somebody else's and bin theirs, if anything.
Yeah,
that's
my hopefully. Motto. Yeah, hopefully I won't be binning him. But off the bikes that I've got, if I was going to go to the UK on any bike, it would probably be the Himalayan, because it'll just about do 70 miles an hour without feeling like it's dying, whereas the Meteor 350 at 70 miles an hour is absolutely flat out. So, So the Himalayan is actually my fast bike. There's probably not many people that can say that the Himalayan is their fast bike, but in my case it is. So, if I was going to do a long trip, it would probably be with Norman.
So where you are now, how long would it take you to get from where you live to the nearest sort of ferry port, I guess?
The ferry would have to be Santander.
Mm-hmm.
And if you bear with me for a second, I'll just ask Google that. I'm guessing.
I'm going to get another beer.
I'm guessing it's going to be about 1,200 k's, or maybe even 1,500.
What, 1,500 k's to the ferry port?
I think so. Yeah. It's certainly 1,200 to the French border, but Santander is over to the west as well, so that's extra mileage.
Peaky just said I should have taken my R1250 GSA out. Not a chance, mate. Imagine if no, it's BMW parts are too expensive if anything happened. But thanks.
All right, now I'm getting a load of I'm getting a load of mileages to the nearest Santander bank. Well, that's really helpful. Thank you,
How many have
Google.
we got on, Gary?
We were up around 30-ish, 29, something like that. I haven't
Oh yeah,
looked. Yeah, doing
that's
all
good,
right.
mate, for the first one.
That'll be the Steve factor. You're bringing in your punters. Right, so directions to Santander in Cantabria. So what's that then? Yeah, genau. From here. No, that was wrong. Nearly there. Bear with.
It's all right, mate. No
I mean,
problem.
I'm interested myself actually, but I think it's going to be 15 hours at least. Is it?
I
Oh
guess
no,
you
it's not
know.
that bad.
I
Oh, of
guess
course,
you've got.
because you don't go along the coast road. Of course, if I was going to France, I go along the coast road, but you can go straight up. So like through the centre of Spain, through Madrid. So it's actually no longer than going to the border. So it
Mhm.
would be the fastest route with tolls would be 10 hours to Santander.
10
It's not
hours.
too bad.
Yeah.
So that would be, let's say, 3 days. I don't think you'd want to do more than 4 hours a day on a small bike.
I bet you would, though, wouldn't you? If you was on a small bike, you'd probably try and get in 6 or 7 at least, I would imagine, wouldn't you? You probably want a
I
gun
don't
to it
know.
and get there, wouldn't you?
I don't know. Because if I was going to do it, it would have to be a holiday, and I wouldn't want it to be punishment.
Hmm.
Mm.
And
But if you do
what would be
4 hours, if you do 4 hours in Spain, that's going to be 400 kilometers, pretty
the
much, because
ideal
you can average
situation really
100 all the
is
time.
to, sorry, mate. The ideal situation really is to tie the ABR in with like saddlebags ride out or something like that and see everybody at once, maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
But
what's this? This looks interesting.
it's not that naughty nurse again, is it?
No, no, we're all right. No, no, we're good. Yeah, so ABR Festival, good. So you were there. It
Yeah.
sounds like you didn't get a lot of drinking done if you were riding all of those bikes.
It didn't really concern me that it should do, but it didn't really
Hmm.
concern me. But no, I didn't really. I know Peaky was saying I met Peaky Biker up there. Awesome to meet him, honestly. What a top chap. I mean, I had 3 or 4 pints a night. That's about it, really, and then off I went the next day. So yeah, I didn't get a huge amount done, but I'm 46. I can't be bothered with a hangover or any of that malarkey these days. But it was a good time, mate. Yeah, it's really good up there. Yeah, and met a few people as well.
Mm. Oh, Stefan, so you had a mash, right? And you had it repaired in Wuppertal, and they couldn't get the parts. Yeah, this is the thing I do worry about. Mash is actually a French brand, but they are made in China. And I did like the design of their bikes. They went up in the day. They went up to a 400. I think they do a bigger bike now. But that's always a concern with these less established brands. You think, yeah, okay, they'll sell you a bike, but are you going to get after sales support? You know,
Mm,
like 2 years down the line when you need a bit, is the dealer still going to be there, or has he gone bust or changed brands or whatever else?
yeah,
And B, if you have got a dealer, can they still get parts? And it sounds like Mash is not great for parts
yeah.
supply. So
I'd
that's
tell you a classic with that, Gary, is the Vosges brand. Vosges are basically trying to copy Honda, and they started out being with Lexmoto. They bought out the 500, which is a superb bike. It was better than the Honda 500X, and even I've done a video with Nathan Millwood, and he said the same thing. Then they bought out a 650, which wasn't very good. But then all of a sudden it went really quiet, and basically Vosges pulled away from Lexmoto, and now they've gone to MotoGP, who supply Royal Enfield in the UK.
Yeah, they did.
So
They did do, didn't they? Now Royal Enfield are doing it themselves, but yeah, they lost the
that's
contract.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that could be interesting to see how that pans out. And I've yeah dug into that a little bit as well. I spoke to one of the sales ladies, and yeah, found out a few things, but I need to clarify it. But yeah, so Vosges are, a really good brand, and now they've got the Vosges 300, which I tried at the ABR festival, and it's £3,800. And when you consider the Honda 300L is around six, I think, it's a big saving. And I actually preferred riding the Vosges to the Honda, dare I say, because the suspension was a lot better. On the Honda, it's very wallowy, but yeah, it's actually, really quite good there. So yeah, it's interesting, and that's the same with any of these Chinese bikes, really. And certainly, obviously, I try quite a few of them. Is that it's not fair on the customer. Certainly, a company like Lexmoto to sell the bikes, and then a year down the line, just basically bin it.
Yeah.
It's so unfair.
Yeah,
It doesn't help them in the long run.
that is always my feel with these Chinese brands. They're keen to sell bikes, and then you just think, as far as they're concerned, that's the end of it. And then it's up to you to see how you get on with it, and they're very evolutionary. So they're like really obsessed about bringing out a new model every year or every 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So then, if you've got some part that was unique to the model that you happened to buy,
Mm-hmm.
the same part on the successor to that model almost certainly isn't going to fit, because they just constantly they're always striving to be the next great big thing, and so they're always changing everything. Probably on every bike they make, nothing is interchangeable.
No, that's
So
right.
so you do worry. It might be a lovely bike when it's new, but I think that's their biggest hurdle, is to get consumer confidence. That they are going to have after sales support like
Yeah,
all other brands, because there's no point having a cheap bike if you have to throw it in the skip after a year, because then it's no longer
absolutely,
a
mate.
cheap bike.
Yeah, defeats the object.
And I've heard in the early days, like Chinese 125s and things, people buying them, having a problem, needing a part, and the parts just weren't available, and they've just ended up throwing them in the bin, basically.
Yeah,
Which is like
yeah.
2.5 grand or whatever you spent on it. It's just gone in a year. That's like massive depreciation, isn't it?
One thing I want to mention, actually, I think the beer's kicking in, Gary. It doesn't take me a lot these days. One thing I did want to mention is that I'm very choosy on what bikes I review as well. I'm not perfect. I haven't got a crystal ball. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Stefan made a very good point there, that he drove the 500DX and he didn't like the engine and gear ratio. Again, that was my opinion, that I liked it. Stefan didn't, and I know where he's coming from. It was quite vibey. I did mention that in the review, that it was quite vibey at higher end, but I'd still preferred it than the 500X, as did Nathan Millwood as well. So different opinions, different people. But I am very choosy in what bikes that I review, because there are bikes that I don't like the look of, and what I don't want to do is have it and just not like the bike because of the way it looks. So I'm quite picky there. But I have had the option of reviewing the MASH. I think it was a 500, or was it a 250? I can't remember now. But I know that they're an absolute nightmare to get the part. So I said to him, look, I'm sorry, I don't want to do it, because I know that right from off,
they have some lovely design. They have some really good looking bikes, but yeah, if you haven't got confidence in their ability to supply parts, even 4 grand is a lot of money to risk.
Yeah.
If you're not sure that in 12 months' time you'll be able to get a part that you need.
Yeah, £100 enough to risk on that, isn't it? Yeah, to ruin that. But another. Sorry.
No, I was going to say that is the biggest problem that these new brands are going to have. I suspect to an extent the rebirth of BSA is a similar thing. A lot of people would like one, but do they have the brand confidence? Are they confident that this is a long-term thing? Are they going to keep making this bike? Are they going to bring the new models that they say they're going to bring? Or are they just going to go, oh, we didn't sell enough. It was a nice idea. It's not worth spending any more money on the whole motorcycle division. Let's just forget it. And then you're stuck there with a bike, which is fine for as long as it's working. But as soon as it breaks down, are you going to be able to get help? And brand confidence is such a hurdle for these new brands coming in. if they don't get the parts supply and the dealer network sorted,
Yeah.
they can't be cheap enough. Like you say, £100, I still wouldn't buy one. You
No,
know,
absolutely not.
if
Yeah.
if I'm not going to get the backup that I need for the next 5 years, I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah.
And
I'll
so
tell you what though,
that is
Gary, I don't know.
a problem.
Do you get BSAs in where you are? Are they?
No, they launched in the UK. I think they're going to have a year, and then they're going to launch in Europe.
They are
So
smashing it in the UK. It's got to be
are
said.
they?
Oh my God, dealers popping up everywhere. Yeah,
Oh,
really.
that's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Why other companies like Motor Morini, for example, their bikes are fantastic. It's basically a Kawasaki versus
Yeah,
650.
yeah.
And they said, what was it? Said 650, whatever it is.
Mm.
Awesome bikes, but there's no dealers. So people are commenting saying, where's the nearest dealer? And I'm like, I don't know, probably 100 miles away. So,
Yeah,
if they go for their first service, what's the point? It's just a
yeah.
non-starter, isn't it? If you haven't got a local dealer.
Mm. No, it's good if BSA are getting a dealer network in place. That makes it more likely that it's going to be a long-term project, and
Yeah.
customers will get support in the years to come.
Yeah,
But
they're smashing it over here. It's got to be said. They're
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if the trouble is, I suspect that when they do launch in Europe, it'll be exactly the same. You'll be in France, like I am,
Yeah.
and there might be 5 dealers for the whole of France. So then you're looking at 300-mile trip to the nearest dealer, and you
Yeah.
ain't going to buy
It's not
one.
an option.
And then obviously, like you say, they've done in the UK over time that will improve. But initially it's going to be a hurdle to getting one, isn't it? If the dealers are not there, it's going to
Yeah.
be a hurdle. But it's good that there are dealers that are prepared to get into bed with BSA and sell their bikes, and hopefully that's an important first step.
And
It's
it's
good for
not
the
only
UK market anyway, and hopefully in Europe, maybe within the first 6 or 12 months, they'll they'll have similar success and they'll have as many dealers over here as well. But remains to be
yeah.
seen.
What makes me laugh with the whole BSA thing is that years ago people used to laugh at Royal Enfield Interceptor, and believe me, I've had this from people who are selling the 4 big brands, for example. I used to mention the Interceptor's really quite good, and he said, "You wait, it won't take off." Sure enough, it did. But those dealers now are actually BSA dealers themselves. So they're obviously trying to go after the Royal Enfield market, which they thought was going to be dead, and really took off. And so the whole BSA thing has really changed things all over again. Beans on toast here, is he?
Yeah, he's here as well. Yeah.
Oh, is
Yeah.
he? Hello, Beans. Have you seen any of his videos, Gary?
No, that's a new one on me. I thought that was
Yeah,
just thought that was what I have for dinner every day. I didn't realise that was a channel.
they're creative. My love, do you want a thing? You want to? Oh, thought she wanted the can opener, bottle opener. Yeah, nearest motor guzzi dealers in Exeter, 77 miles away from Cornish Motorcycle Diaries. Yeah, and they have shit. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Gary.
That was a good spot. Good spot, Shadow. I did hear her mooching about in the background. Yeah, you saw her, did
Yeah.
you? I didn't see her actually, but yeah, she was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
There will be some live sausage action towards the end because she insisted. She said if I do a live stream, she has to have a live sausage. So yeah,
Yeah.
that won't be happening. I'll just have to make sure I get her in the frame, but we'll do that in a bit. So anyway, ABR Fest, you were there. You were riding lots of bikes. And another thing is as well, if I went to that fest, I wouldn't be testing any bikes because you said you have to be there at like 7 a.m. to get your
Yeah.
name. Otherwise, they don't have any bikes left over.
Yeah. It does get very busy.
That ain't happening. Can you sign in for me? Is that allowed?
No, unfortunately not. No, you have to be there with your license and all that.
I could give you like a note, like my mum used to give me to buy cigarettes when I went down to newsagents. I could give you a note saying Economical Rides permits me to book a ride for him.
And maybe put my face on your license as well. It should be all right.
Oh, they want a license as well.
Yeah.
I haven't got one of those. I'm screwed then. I haven't got one
All
of
right.
those.
Well, that's the end of that then, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. It's a shame I had
That's
that
right.
stalker though, Gary. No, that girl who was stalking me there.
Well, this is what I was gonna. This is what I was actually leading up to. Yeah, good segue there. Yeah, so you did
Yeah.
meet a couple of slightly more famous people than myself,
Yeah.
and I'll just flash them up here. Hang on. Mm-mm. Oh, hang
Oh, that
on.
one. I can't
No,
remember that one, but I'd like to meet her. Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm looking for someone to come in and clean 2 days a week, and that was just one of the applications. Sorry, I desperately need to tidy up
I
my
think you
hard
need to
drive.
clean out your computer, Gary, more than anything else.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. My hard drive is a bit of a mess. Hang on, I think we're there. I think we're there. Are we there? Hang on, hang on. Oh, there we go. Yep, there we go. Add to stream.
Ah, there you go.
Look at that.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, it was an honor to meet that lady. She really is,
Yeah,
who she is on camera.
was that actually widely publicised? I didn't know that she was going to be there.
I didn't know to the actual day that I arrived. Somebody said to me that she was going to be there, and I thought, well, I was actually on a test ride when she done her first talk. They got a lot of
Mm,
talkers, people to talk up there. But so I kind of missed the main talk part of it, but I saw the one the next day. But then I was with a friend of mine, and he said Ryan F9 is up there in itchy boots, and I said, well, we missed the show, but let's get a photo. And then actually what happened was I saw the show, and you know what, she is so nice, such a nice, genuine person. And yeah, I got a photo with her, and me and Ryan, we were talking about YouTube for a little while, and his journey and my journey, and he was saying, oh, how many subscribers have you got? And I said 12,000. He said, oh wow, you're really kicking it, man. And again, top bloke, real top lovely people.
mm,
Itchy was lovely. She talked a lot about people and how they were trying to follow her, and people were phoning up hotels saying, is Itchy Boots there? And, we want to go and follow her and stuff like that, which she hated, obviously. She wants to
mm,
ride alone. She don't want people following her. And yeah, just real genuinely, genuine, nice people, which is really nice considering how big their channels are.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, there you
yeah.
go. There you go. Look, you can book the test rides, and I can ride pillion. That's a
Oh, there
good
you go.
idea. Yeah,
That's that sorted out then.
yeah, yeah. As long as you don't book a ride before 11 a.m., that should work for me.
Should be fine. We'll sort it out. We'll sort something out.
Yeah, yeah. So, were they doing talks, or were they just signing autographs and doing photo ops?
Both really. Yeah. So this was after the first talk that Ryan and Itchy done together. So getting them two together, I mean, they're two big stars, but they're not only big stars, but they're, as I say, they're really nice people as well. So that just the show had just literally finished, and it's just a queue to queue up and just talk to them and say hello. But what really got me is the way that how Ryan was talking about my channel. I was trying to talk about his, and he was just talking about my channel, saying, how many subs have you got, and what do you do, and what bikes do you review, and stuff like that. So, unless you meet them, it's yeah, they're just lovely people, just like we are now. They're not
Mm,
up their own ass or anything. They're just really good
no,
people.
yeah, it's yeah, it's a bit surprising in a way that Itchy Boots does well with that kind of occasion, because it always comes across that she's actually um, quite happy to be on her own, and
Yeah.
you would imagine that being like surrounded by people might be difficult for her, but obviously she doesn't come across that way at all.
Yeah. Well, she says that even though she's in South Africa at the moment, she basically flew in to the ABR from South Africa. And she says that every now and then people will still recognize her. And if she goes to Canada or America, she literally cannot move for people recognizing her and stopping
Mm.
her all the time, which she says is lovely. But it gets to the point where you just want to move on and get on with your day, which is understandable, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
And Ryan was there last year as well, with his wife and baby.
Hmm.
It's quite strange actually, because they had a photo exhibition up there as well, and one of the photos that I was looking at was one of Ryan, and I looked behind me, and he was there with his missus and kid, and I thought, hang on a minute, it's a picture of him, and then there's a real life thing, like so. But yeah, all the big tubers are up there, so it was lovely meeting Itchy Boots. I'm not one of those that get a bit you know gushy about meeting people and that, but meeting Itchy was actually really nice, getting that photo of her, because she is just generally a nice person, a real nice person. So
Yeah, yeah, and she's the epitome of a motorcycle adventurer. I mean, when she started out, she started out, sold everything, and didn't have like the best bike, the most expensive gear or anything. She just got on with it, and she's been able to build her channel from there. And yeah, it's I think a lot of people, when they watch her videos, they think, oh, she must have a camera team, she must have 2 or 3 people in a backup truck. She's not going to go to these places on her own, but I mean, she does. There's
yeah,
no question about it. And I can't even imagine. I mean, when I think how much hassle I have making a video at home, right, with my computer here plugged into a wall socket and my internet and everything, and I'm
yeah,
like, oh, I can't do a video per week. And then she's doing all of these miles, and she's flying drones, and she's doing all of this, and then she gets to a shack somewhere, and they fire up a generator, and she manages to upload a video. I mean, I just cannot
yeah. Well, I
even
tell you what,
begin to
exactly how it
comprehend.
works, and this is what I found out from the ABR festival, and what I've always said to other people is that she probably does like 2 days of riding, but then sometimes she says, "Oh, I haven't been able to ride for the last 3 days because of the rain or whatever." That's when she's doing her editing, uploading, etc., in a hotel, isn't it? So she
Yeah,
does do it, and she did touch on that on one of her talks, that she wished that people would just believe her when she says that she does it herself, everything she does herself, and it's something that really bugs her when people say that she doesn't. So yeah, I just thought I'd add that.
yeah, yeah. And we're just getting Peaky getting props for his ride, which was yeah, featured on your recent open mic night, wasn't it? Yeah, that was
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, great
I
job.
met Peaky on Saturday, I think it was Saturday night, and
Yeah,
yeah, it's lovely being able to see people on over a live or whatever, but actually meeting them, again, just a top bloke. Peaky's just a top bloke, and it was awesome. Like you said, it was a shame we didn't get a photo together, but I met so many people up there as well, which I wish I got a photo of. Moto
yeah,
UK, Nick, and a few others as well. So yeah,
yeah,
it's good meeting Peaky. No photo, maybe
yeah.
next time.
Good question, Howie. She was certainly instrumental in my initial consideration of getting a Himalayan when I still had my bullet, because I that was the first evidence I'd had that there were actually Royal Enfields out there that didn't break down all the time. She was actually able to do a journey on one, and I thought, oh, maybe they have improved. And then I started thinking, yeah, well, maybe I should get a Himalayan, and it just transpired that I ended up getting a Meteor first. But um, yeah, certainly she she reassured me, because that is a real proper test that she did with that first Himalayan. There was no way that they would cover anything up. I think she mainly had a couple of punctures, but other than that, she had no real issues.
No
And
clutch
that,
plates, I think, at one point, but
yeah,
that's
yeah, clutch,
understandable. Yeah,
because she was riding the clutch a lot and burnt it out. But um, yeah, I mean that was really that gave me the confidence to start thinking about getting another Royal Enfield, even though I'd had such a bad experience. And yeah, definitely that was the case. The Himalayan in general is pretty good, and yeah, they're more modern bikes, more recent bikes. They're as reliable as anybody else's, I would suggest. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. For the money and adventure travel, off roading, etc., the Himalayan is spot on, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. Hello,
Yeah.
Christopher. There you go,
Hello,
Christopher.
Chris.
Hello. Yep. So, right. So, what I was going to ask you now is, because you've been to the ABR festival, and obviously you are a fan of people like Itchy Boots and people that do trips, longer trips. Um, is doing longer trips something that you feel is in your future, maybe when you're semi-retired or when the kids are older, or
Mm.
is that something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, I definitely. I would like to. That is something I would like to do more of. I've got so many people that I want to meet around the UK, most importantly, and I did want to do some sort of UK trip this year.
Yeah,
Sadly, what actually happens is the summer comes along, and then the dealers, not dealers, the manufacturers start saying, "Oh, we've got this new bike out. Do you want to try it?" And then I get tied up with getting 3 or 4 bikes in the garage at a time. And yeah, before I know it, it's September, October, and I've got to try and get working at the same time. So it's financially, it's really difficult to run my channel and also keep the money coming in from the day job. That's what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
battling all the time. So
yeah.
the answer is, if I didn't do the reviews, I would definitely do bigger trips. My
Right.
kids are old enough now to probably allow me to do that, apart from my youngest, who's 11. Um,
Mhm.
I want to do more, Gary, and there's so many videos I want to make, and I just can't make them due to
Yeah,
time. It's
yeah,
frustrating.
yeah. I think doing trips is the one thing that I really can't do at the moment that I would really love to do.
Hmm.
Um, on both of my bikes, I really that's what drew me to the Meteor. Really, is I love the idea of doing a long trip on what most people would consider to be an inadequate bike. A small capacity bike where they go. So like when you turn up wherever it is, and it's a 350, and they go, "Where have you come from?" "Oh, southern Spain," and they'd be like, "What?"
Yeah,
So because like you could do it on a big, touring bike like a 1200 or something. Everyone can do that, but there's an added sense of achievement when you've got a little bike that just says, "I can do it. I can do it." It's going to take me longer to get there, but I'll get you there, and then you just do it. Yeah, that was really one of the big things that drew me to the Meteor was the fact that it was a little 350, um, and just maybe one day doing a long trip with it and just going, look, you don't need a big bike. These little cheap bikes will get you there and in comfort. And the thing is, you literally do need more time because you can't go from A to B on the motorway at 140 k's.
yeah,
You can't do that. So you take the scenic route. So for a trip where most people, like a big BMW or something, would probably do it in a week, I'd need 2 weeks because I'd have to plan a route that avoided most of the motorway. It would take me a lot longer to get everywhere. So I would just need more time, but it would actually be a nicer ride. It wouldn't be a thrash. It would just be, you see more when you're off the motorway anyway. But yeah, for those kind of trips, you do need a lot of time. A trip that most people would do in a week, I would need 2 weeks for.
that's
And
what I really like about your channel, Gary. Economical rides. I never really understood what it meant until you come onto my life, but I like the way that you're taking a small, it's not a smallish bike. It's a middle of the road bike, isn't it? And
yeah,
the whole economical rides premise is spot on. I really like that.
yeah, because at the end of the day, that little cheap bike gives me everything that an expensive bike would give me, but without the sleepless nights of thinking about how much value it's losing, or when I have to park somewhere overnight, not being so terrified that it might get nicked. Because if it did
Mm.
get nicked, I might be 3 grand out of pocket, which would be a disaster, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get a really expensive bike nicked or vandalized, that would definitely take some getting over.
And it's true
Um,
what you say that on the bigger bikes, you're riding to get to the destination, aren't you? You set
yeah,
yourself a time limit or whatever. If you're
I
running
think so.
behind, you give it a bit more juice, and yeah,
I think the more capability you have, the more you try to fit in, the more you try to do.
yeah,
And so if you haven't got so much capability to begin with, you're much more realistic, and then you actually get to enjoy the whole ride much more because you're not trying to do massive miles. You're trying to avoid the motorways. You're trying to do it in an enjoyable way.
yeah.
And you can cover any distance. It's just a question of time, and
Yes.
obviously on a slower bike, you're going to need more time. If you avoid the motorways, you're going to need more time. Most of us, we have to earn a living. We haven't got that time.
Mm,
But if I won the lottery or something, that would be the first thing I would do. Would be to just uh, get Ruby taken care of, or better still, get a sidecar outfit and take Ruby with me.
yeah,
That would be the best option,
that
and
would
then
be
just
cool.
go on a month's journey somewhere. I'd love to do that, but yeah, like you, real life is kind of dictates that that's not really on the cards at the moment. And yeah, I think if I had a big touring bike, I still wouldn't do it because I feel that then I would definitely plan a thrash route. I'd say, oh,
Mm,
I can go to England and back in 7 days, no problem, and have a few days over there. And then the ride there and the ride back is just motorway, and it's just, and
yeah.
it's like, where's the fun in that?
It's two different journeys, isn't it? Having a low capacity bike compared to a big capacity bike.
Yeah,
See,
yeah,
when you say to
and
me about having a 350 and going on a trip, I just think, well, imagine the scenery that you would see off of the motorway, all the people
yeah,
that you possibly might meet on the coffee
yeah,
stops or whatever.
definitely. Yeah, you'd meet a lot of people.
Whereas on the
Yeah,
motorway, you're going from there to the service station to your destination. So,
yeah,
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 makes a lot of sense.
yeah. So yeah, hopefully that's something we can both do when our lives allow it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think in reality, I think you've literally got to say, you know what, I've got a week free, stuff it, I'm going. I think
yeah,
that's the only way to do it is just to do it, isn't it?
yeah, yeah,
And that's something I struggle with because I got to, it's just normal. It's just normal life stuff, which makes it so difficult to do what you want to do, which is frustrating.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, so yeah, it's not easy, but I'm hopeful. Actually, I'd really like to do a trip or two this year, just a weekend or one night away. Maybe I can wangle that if I can get someone to look after little Ruby, who's down here. So we'll see. But yeah, in the future, definitely, I'd like to go away for a week or 2 weeks and actually see different places.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Sometimes I get in such a, you know, such a, such a little hut really that even going down to to Launceston to the Saddlebags ride out, I could have been anywhere. I could have been in Spain, France, or whatever. It's such a good feeling to know that I was going out of where I normally am. That's all I needed. A good day out like that. It really blew out the cobwebs.
Thanks, Adam.
Oh, I didn't seriously.
Yeah,
Oh, you,
yeah. Can,
oh,
can you see his comment? Good. Yeah.
two angels.
Oh, there you go. Then we get the comeback as well. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well done, Ainsworth. Lose the photo. You're quite right. Yeah, hang on. There we go. There we go.
It's not much
Thank you.
better, is it?
Oh, it is. It's much better. It's
Yeah.
much better. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's waiting for my research. No, there's no more research unless Ruby's been on here. We'll have to wait and see.
Is Ruby awake now? Is she?
Yeah, she's at my side. So what I was going to say was we've been going for bloody hell, nearly 2.5 hours. Sorry about that, folks. So yeah, how are we doing? Are you doing all right, Steve? You okay?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
good, mate.
Okay.
Yeah. I need to get
Right.
another
So
beer, to be honest, but yeah.
yeah, I need. What I was going to do. What I was going to do for people that know my channel, they'll know that I'm a bit of a whiskey drinker, and I have got a new whiskey that arrived today. So I'm going to crack that open. You can grab whatever your tipple is,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to talk to you about tipples, believe it or not. So we might go into a little bit of a tipple review.
I don't
How
know
about
much
that?
about tipples, but okay. I'll go and get a beer and I'll be right back.
Good
Commercial
man.
break, guys.
Commercial break. Do, 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 do. 20 countries in 20 days. Look at that. Yeah, well, that's what you need a big BMW for. You can definitely do that on one of those. I think I'd struggle. It will soon be sausage time. Yes, indeed it will. the whiskey demonstration has happened, it will be live sausage action on the channel. Nein, das würde nicht, die liegt hier. Die ist ja ganz zufrieden. Mach keinen Stress. Happy birthday. So what have we got here? No, I think you've had enough for today, Howie. That'll do. Yeah, I'm not really a beer drinker, William. No, not really. In summer, I can be forced to drink a beer. I normally would drink red wine, prefer wine, but when it's very hot, like it is at the moment, obviously I do get a slight tendency to drink beer because it's kind of more of it and it's more refreshing. You don't get quite as hammered. You can drink a bit more of it. So, but yeah, generally, most of the year I don't drink beer, mainly wine, and then a follow-up whiskey. So, are you still on the Desperados?
No, I'm Captain Morgan's now. There's the last little bit in the bottle there, so I thought I'd go for that.
Desperate
Spice.
measures.
Yeah, spice rum. Yeah.
So there you go. Go to Exeter Riders. Buy me a Captain Morgan's page, because that bottle's about to run out by the look of it.
Yeah.
Right. So I just Ruby will be mooching about because I'm moving, so you might see her. But before we get to the sausage action, there she is. Yeah. So basically, this is quite interesting. This is actually Spanish whiskey. This is not normally something you would recommend. So this is DYC. And that's available in pretty much every supermarket over here, which normally I think most people buy to mix. But I can actually drink it pure. It's all right. It's not bad. And then they do a DYC 8 years, which is really quite nice, which has got a blue label. And this has got a blue label, and this has been in oak barrels for 8 years. So this is nicer again.
So is that a single malt, Gary, is it?
No, these are both blends. So one is like a supermarket whiskey. You can get that anywhere. The 8 years is a bit harder to get hold of, but that's at least it's a blend, but it's been stored in oak barrels for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And a new one, which arrived today. This is the only DYC single malt.
Oh, yeah.
So I've never had this before, so I thought we'd give this a shot.
Get on.
So price-wise, so for the supermarket one, you're looking at about €13. I've got the 1 litre bottle of the 8 year, which is about €19. So I think the 0.7 size bottle of that one will probably be about 16. And I think this one's just under 20. This is the single malt, 0.7, so the small bottle. I thought we'd give this a go.
Yeah, go for it.
I know, and you're just waiting for your sausage to appear. I'll tell you what, Ruby, what we'll do whiskey treats, all right? Because I'm having a whiskey, you get to have your sausage. So what you have to do is you have to move over there into the frame, and I'll give you your sausage, all right? So,
Making me hungry.
Now, honestly, you wouldn't want to eat these sausages, trust me.
I must admit, the sausages that you've given her before, sometimes I look at them, I think, I'm not sure if I'd eat that, but...
This is going to be kind of tricky to get her in the frame. Let me get the microphone out of the way. Hang on. There's Ruby.
Oh, sausages.
Would you like a sausage? Oh, she would. She would. Let me have a look in my cooler bag for the sausages. Here you go. So this has got to be one of the few live streams where you get live sausage action. Come here. Over
Depends
here.
on what you're watching. Yeah.
Now you got to turn around and face the camera. There we go. Ruby, come here. Hop, hop, hop.
Oh, lovely.
There we go. I got slimy fingers now. Nice one.
Who were they donated by then? Or they just donated by you?
I think these are donated by me. The next packet's got a sponsor on them, I think. There we go, Ruby. 2 sausages, that's enough, because as people said, if you cut down on the sausages, maybe we can get you in a top box. Maybe you can come with Daddy. Yeah, you just need to lose about 8 kilos and then we can talk about it. What do you reckon? So how's the spiced rum coming along? Is it good?
It's all right. Yeah, to be honest, I'd rather drink shorts than beer or lager or cider or whatever, really. So
yeah, because it's like
it's
a matter of volume, isn't it? If you drink a lot of beer and cider, and you've got like we've spent like 2.5 hours. If you're drinking beer for 2.5 hours, you get very bloated.
Definitely, yeah. Even a couple pints, I just can't seem to shake it these days. Which, as most of you can see on a walk round, I've got a bit of a beer belly these days, so trying to lose it. I've got a question for you, actually, if I may, Gary. Do you know much about cheese?
Well, I'm a fan of cheese, as is Ruby. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've got a thing for Stilton. Like really gone off Stilton. Love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so what I do is I break. Yeah, I break it up
extreme.
and put it over a piece of bread, and then I put it in the microwave and melt it just for sort of 5-10 seconds. I normally get through a block in a weekend easy. Really healthy. What's the strongest cheese, anyone in the side chat, that you've ever had that's easily available?
Yeah, because I've got to say I do like mature cheddar, for instance, but I'm not a fan of blue cheeses. I don't really like the flavour of the mould. I'm not a big fan of that.
No,
flavour.
my old man used to eat it, and I used to hate it. But now I've turned into my old man, and my kids are saying, "Ooh, what's that, Dad? It's gone off."
Oh yeah, that's good. That's smooth.
All right, is it?
And now you're getting like nice floral notes coming through. Oh, that's not bad at all. There you go. DYC single malt, not bad at all.
So you're a connoisseur. I can't do whiskey. Never been able to do it. Just knocks my head out.
I won't even put ice or water or anything in it because that just dilutes it. So I just drink it as it comes.
Yeah, I've got a couple of friends like that who like their whiskey and they buy a bottle every week. Sort of £80 bottle a week.
Right.
Never drink it, but
yeah, no, it's if I dilute it, then obviously I can't pick out the nuances. So yeah, normally I just drink it as it comes.
Yeah. Oh, Lily's saying stinking bishop. I've heard about that stuff. I might have to try.
Oh yeah, that sounds pretty bad. That could be right up your street. There you go, Ruby. Foxfire Valley Vineyard says, "Yay, Ruby." No, she's gone because there's no sausages to be had. She's gone. There you go. That's dogs for you. What have we got?
How's the question list doing, Gary? Have you got any more left?
I'm going through the comments at the moment. Thanks, James.
Oh, Howie's like me. He hates whiskey, except bourbon, or Jack Daniels.
Bourbon, yeah. Bourbon's really interesting because it's a lot more, for me at least, it's a lot more. It's kind of more like brandy. It's a lot softer, warmer. It's a lot less harsh. It's quite good stuff. Yeah, I like that as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Where I work, we sell 90% volume Irish whiskey. Yeah, you probably do need a drop of water with that one, William. I don't think you should be drinking that neat.
Yeah, Peaky Biker won't. He'll just drink it neat. He's quite good at that sort of thing. But yeah, I quite like Jack Daniel's honey, actually. I went through a phase of not being able to get enough of that stuff. But I've had so much of it now, I can't, I've gone off it a bit. How many have we got on, Gary?
We're down to 20 now, but I think at our peak we were nearly 30. But I mean, we have been banging on for like 2.5 hours, so we're doing all right.
Yeah.
James, got a new Scotch, sorry, a Cotswold, and it's lovely. Cotswold whiskey. That sounds exotic. Nice one.
G&T all the way. It's nice to know that people have been here so long as well, Gary, isn't it? Listening to us. You know, Lily, Cornish Motorcycle Diaries, Howie.
Yeah, they clearly have no real interests in life. But yes, thank you very much. It's very wonderful of you all, and I'll just flash it up again just so that I can get some feedback. Hang on. There we go. Let us know how we're doing, whether this is something we should do again. And definitely, Steve. Now that you've come out,
yeah,
you're quite.
I feel like Philip Schofield. Yeah,
you do. Yeah, and so that's good. But it's interesting in a way because, like, what percentage of your viewers do you think actually knew that you were not just Exmouth, but that you were actually Steve? Because I know a few of us.
I mean,
maybe the vloggers that you've had on your show, I would guess. Yeah.
Yeah, they know. Lily knows. I met Lily for a coffee one time. Howie, Peaky, Chris, Dennis Mayer, Rev, Brom. He knows. Yeah, kind of. The reason I didn't, purely is down to a security situation, really. Obviously, I get a lot of bikes, and it's very easy to track down my address for reasons I won't delve into, obviously. But you know, with the way that the world works and different factors, you know, it was better that I didn't let that out. It's better that I'd probably shut up, really. But I think it's difficult when I see people out and about as well, because they don't really know what to say. They're like, oh, hello, you're Exeter rider, aren't you? Whereas now they would might say, oh, hello, Steve, or whatever.
They saw you on the awesome EconomicalRides live stream, and now they know that you are Steve.
Yeah. How boring. What a boring name. Could have been Engelbert.
Yeah.
Something like
Tarquin.
that.
Tarquin would have been good. Yeah.
Yeah. Gershwin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have we got here? Garstang Blue. Now that must be another cheese. Hang on.
Oh, is it?
I'll put that one up for you. That's from James.
Oh, lovely. Again. Oh, thanks, Ainsworth. Brilliant. Garstang Blue.
Garstang Blue. Yeah. Now I struggle with that mouldy flavour. You know, it's a shame. I do like a strong cheese. But I don't like the mouldy taste.
Yeah. I wish I didn't, actually, because when it's in the fridge, it's gone in 2 days. Yeah, I'm just permanently digging it out and melting it in the microwave, and yeah.
Yeah, hang on, I'm just checking the comments again.
Actually, let's ask these guys, because I know Peaky. Peaky, what's your favourite whiskey? And who else was it? Ref Bomb. Lily, what's your tipple? Howie? Chris? Cornish Motorcycle Diaries. Let's see what they all what's their favourite tipple.
Oh, here we go. We got a serious question. On a serious note, I have PTSD. I have depression. How do you guys keep channel on YouTube?
How do you keep?
Well, clearly I don't. I mean, I always sound like I'm about to jump off a bridge. So, but that might be aimed at you, Steve. So you can field that one.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. I don't really suffer with anything like that. So I've had a hard time early days in my life, but I've been given the tools to deal with that sort of situation. And Peaky, I know you're part of your story, so I fully understand. I've been very lucky, really, compared to what you've had to put up with, for sure. Yeah. So that answers that.
Yeah.
The names of
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense, Chris, because for so many reasons, even down to getting all the emails. The amount of emails I get from China now saying, "Do you want to try these lights? Do you want to try this? Do you want to try that?" I've had emails recently who have basically just hacked me. I've been hacked into my email, and the more you put yourself out there, the more you're going to get of that. And now that I've given away a big key of that, I'm going to get even more. But it just needed to be done. It had to be done at some point. So I thought, well, make Gary's life worthwhile and and then come out.
Yeah, I mean, it
It
was
sounds
actually
awful. I should say. Sorry.
it was instigated by you because you said, "Shall I call you ER or Gary?" Because you said that in my comments I've referred to myself as Gary, and I said, "Yeah, well, most people on my channel know that I'm Gary." Because you start out with the anonymity thing, really, because I guess when you don't really know who your viewers are, and when you don't know if the channel's going to get any traction at all or whatever. But once you start making friends through the channel, and having comments bouncing backwards and forwards, it seems a bit silly at some point to try and remain anonymous, because you've got people, half of them, their username is their real name, and they feel like they know you. So I started replying in the comments as Gary. And so you were asking me, should I refer to you as Gary or ER or Economical or Eco? And I said, no, you could call me Gary. And then you said, yeah, actually, you can refer to me as Steve. I think I'll come out. So that's what we did. So there you go. That's a real big Eco exclusive Exeter rider. That's Steve.
I'd say another thing as well is that it's quite nice doing the YouTube thing and becoming somebody else than what you are in the day job, for example. It's nice being Exeter Rider or whatever. I still kind of prefer to be known as Exeter Rider only, really, because it just takes me away. That's my little happy place, is my YouTube Exeter Rider channel. And yeah, I don't know. It feels a bit weird, but it just felt the right thing to do coming out. It's been years I felt this way, and it just had to come out.
Yeah, no, it's good. And yeah, like I said, I mean, basically, probably 90% of your regular viewers and channel commenters feel like they know you and are friendly towards you. So,
absolutely.
Where's the harm in telling them that you do actually have a birth name, that you are not Exmouth biker, but you are actually Exeter rider?
No, sorry, my birth name was Claire, but since then I've become Steve. It depends what you identify as, really, doesn't it? So
anyway, I think you've had lots of support from the community here on the chat. They've really got behind you with your outing, so that's great. That's the lovely thing about YouTube, I mean, on a serious note, actually, I think when you start doing YouTube, you have to kind of. The first thing I said to myself when I started doing YouTube was, "Is your skin thick enough to deal with any negativity?" Because, I still think my videos are rubbish, but certainly the early ones were not that great. So I was kind of expecting, when I put them public, obviously initially I didn't put them public, but when I put them public, I thought, is your skin thick enough to deal with the negativity? Because if it isn't, you shouldn't do it. If you're somebody that takes it to heart and lets it get to you, then you shouldn't be on YouTube. Forget it. So that was my attitude. So I thought, right, because I don't really care what anybody thinks of me ultimately, because I'm quite happy in my own skin. So I thought, no, I can deal with it. It's not going to affect me in any way. And the surprising thing is, I haven't had any negativity at all, And I thought that was going to be the major thing. Is people going, "Oh, you're rubbish. Your camera's rubbish. Your audio's rubbish. You're bored. You sound like you don't give a toss. And none of that. Everyone was right from day one. It was just all positive. And
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. But
But
I
sometimes I
was
don't know if you've.
braced. I
Sorry.
was braced for
Yeah.
negativity. I was braced for it. And I thought, no, it's not going to bother me. I'll just reply in kind. I'll just give them some flippant comment that they realise they can't wind me up, and then they'll go away. And that's still
Yeah.
my attitude. But I've not really had to deal with that at all.
But then you
So if
get the
anyone,
abs. Sorry.
so if anyone in the comments wants to, just write comments about how crap my videos are, because then I can really test the theory.
Oh, can I do the
'cause I haven't had to-
comments?
Yeah.
I've got a long list. But I've had the ones I hate
have
are
to
the
deal with it.
absolute dumbass comments, which, to be frank, I just delete them and ban them straight away. For example, I've had people saying, "Can you talk in a more American accent?" Well, no, that's not gonna happen, is it? Other ones that say, "Oh, you only took it up to 75 miles an hour. Why can't you take it over 100 and see what the bike's properly like?" Of course, I'm not going to do that. Just
No.
utter. I have to watch my language. Just utter idiotic, sort of questions like that. I've had loads of them over the past. I've got a video coming up actually on that, so yeah, it should be interesting. But some people will write something really dumb, and then you'll write back to them, and sort of say, well, how can I do over 100 miles an hour? And it's, oh, really sorry, and they don't realise that you can actually reply to them and fight, sort of fight back, and yeah, that always makes me laugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy. If you've got someone that's really obviously trolling you, you just go, "Oh, thanks. I really appreciate you taking the time to post that. Thank you."
Yeah,
And then they're just like, they're not going to reply to that because they just think it's not going to go anywhere. You're not
find
bothered.
somebody else to wind up. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah. But I've probably had, in 2 years, I've probably had 5 people that were trying to get a rise out of me. And I
yeah,
just replied like that. I said, "Oh, thanks, mate. Thanks for that. I really appreciate you taking the time to post that." And then
yeah,
they don't bother after that once they realise you don't care.
yeah, yeah.
So for Christopher Dennis Meyer, first of all, um, you probably won't get as much negativity as you're expecting. I think a lot of the negativity actually comes when you put your videos as suitable for kids, which I never do. Not because my videos aren't suitable for kids, but just because I don't want kids,
In this day
posting
and
stuff.
age, yeah, you just don't want anything to do with that, do you? Yeah,
Yeah, no, yeah. So I think a lot of the hate that is around in social media and on YouTube is probably like kids, younger people that are bored and got nothing better to do to tell you how crap you are.
yeah,
But if you say, okay, it's not suitable for kids, basically it's only old geezers, like ourselves that will stumble across that video. And most of us that are motorcyclists and are of a certain age, we try and encourage people and try and find a positive in what they're doing. Because at the end of the day, it costs us time and effort to do these things, but we're not charging anybody. It's not costing any money to be able to watch it. So why would you slag somebody off who's obviously doing the best with the means at their
talent
disposal?
that they've got. Yeah,
Yeah, and cameras and audio equipment and all of this. You do what you can with what you've got initially, if that's all you've
absolutely.
got. And so what's the point in being negative? And in reality, there hasn't been any negativity, not of any to any significant degree. And that was probably the one thing that surprised me above all else. That people have been overwhelmingly positive, and I've seen it on other channels that have started and grown and grown. It's very rare that somebody's gonna, try and put people down. It's probably a motorcycle community thing. I think motorcyclists are more or less the only people that are going to click on our videos, and all motorcyclists feel a connection. They kind of feel like we're all compañeros. We all ride bikes, so that puts us in a minority. It puts us in a group that's kind of has a lot of shit to deal with. So we're not going to start putting each other down. We're going to try and help each other. Or if you think the video's shit, at least say nothing. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? If I watch a shit video, I'm not going to take the time to say, "Oi, mate, your video's shit." I'm just going to watch it and then not watch
Hope they
again.
get the
I
hint.
mean,
Yeah.
but so that's probably the biggest surprise is the lack of negative feedback that I've got, really.
Yeah, and it says more about them than what it does us, doesn't it? When you get loads and loads of common people, like Lily will always comment on my videos, Howie, Peaky, etc., and you get that one comment, and you just think, well, it doesn't matter because I've got 100 good comments against your one bad one. So, wait for the next video and see if you like that one, and if you don't, then oh well, never mind.
Yeah,
Don't watch it. Turn off. They got a little X button in the top right-hand corner, so use it.
yeah, exactly. It's all free. Nobody's forcing you. But I think if someone watches something and it's crap, and then they take the time to tell you that it's crap, probably their motivation is just to wind you up. I don't think, because if they were trying to be like constructively critical, which is okay.
Yes.
They would say, oh, I like the intention of your video was good and I like it, but you need a better camera or you need better audio or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of comment you would leave if you were trying to be constructively critical. But if somebody just slags you off, then obviously they're not interested anyway. Whatever you did for them, it doesn't matter because they're just there to wind you up anyway. So they're not worth really taking personally or paying any attention to. So I just like doing a sarky comment like, oh, thanks, mate. I really appreciate you taking the time to post that comment. That's really helpful. Thank you.
Shot them down. Yeah.
Yeah. Then there's no fun in it then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then what have we got? We've got some good comments here. Yeah. So Dave,
yeah, I was just saying.
Hi, Dave.
Poor old Peaky's the Peaky biker. Somebody's taken over his YouTube name, I think, because he says on there that I don't swear at all, which is totally false. So somebody's taken over his name, I think, because I know Peaky, and I heard him say a few words once.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah, hi Dave, hi Willow. Willow's his little dog. Just got back from the bike meet in Taunton. He's in your neck of the woods, though.
Yeah.
Down the road.
Not far from me.
Just down the road. And Sheppy side. Just going to grab coffee. All right, Dave, we're on the hard stuff, but you can drink coffee. That's fine.
Do you enjoy the editing side of it, Gary?
To be honest, I enjoyed making the trailer for this one. When I had the idea of ER-mageddon, I was so proud of myself. I thought, right, we've got to do a bombastic trailer, because it's rare that I would have such a good idea. So I thought, no, this deserves a trailer. So it wasn't a video that I was intending to make. It wasn't on my schedule at all to do a trailer for this. I was just going to flash up a card and do a voiceover and say there's a live stream coming. But I actually really enjoyed making that video because it was like I could script it and then I could build it up and I could get the audio and I could try and line it all up.
You're good at that stuff. You're good at that. Same as your intro as well, the way you put it in like a cartoon sort of thing. I like that.
Yeah, thanks. No, I'd like to do more of that, but I don't know if people know this, but basically I'm lucky if I ride once a week. And I've set myself a schedule of one video per week. So basically, what that normally means is I ride at the weekend because during the week I can't. So I'll probably ride on Saturday or Sunday, and then the video's coming out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I've got no time. Like Sunday evening, Monday evening, I'm editing to get it finished for Tuesday. So I haven't really got the time to be overly creative and put in a load of stuff that I would like to do, because I do like the creative aspect. But at the moment, I've made a rod for my own back by doing this one video per week schedule and only being able to ride once a week. It'd be different. If I rode to work every day and back from work every day, I could maybe take the camera with me and on the way home I could film something, or on the way there I could film something. But in reality, I ride once a week and I'm doing a video per week. So basically every time I ride, I'm doing a vlog. That's it.
That thing that you're saying about rods and your own back, that's exactly what I've done with my reviews. They like the Hornet. I don't know if you've seen the Hornet one, but the Hornet one was so much work, and obviously having a second rider, 2 cameras running at the same time, etc. It creates such a good video, but then you reach a point where that's what everybody wants. They want that standard all the time. I do that for Honda because Honda are special people. They're nice bunch of people as well. I actually know them personally, the people that I speak to. So I want to give them my absolute all because they're putting their neck on the line, for me. So I give it all, but I can't do it for every single video because it's just not physically possible, let alone the time that it takes to do. So
yeah. But it would be nice to have the time, wouldn't it?
yeah.
If I could get like 3 weeks ahead with my video, so I've got the next 3 weeks covered, and then I could go out today and film something, and I know that I've got anywhere between 1 and 3 weeks to finish it off and add it to the queue, But in reality, it's usually ride Saturday or Sunday sometimes, and make sure the video's out for Tuesday. So it's like, bosh, There's no
I'm gonna have another wee. I've been holding it in for too long now. It's causing me a problem.
No problem. I'll keep things going. So what have we got here in the comments? That's a good point, Howie, actually. Yeah, I've done that once or twice. Usually they don't bother me that much, so I don't really even do that. But yeah, like you say, normally someone is giving you shit. You go on their channel. Oh, actually, I did have that. I had that. I had some guy who said when I took the Meteor 350 off-road through the mountain trail, he went, I could have gone down there on a MotoGP bike. And so I thought, well, you couldn't because there were ruts and it was like loose stones and sand and stuff, but whatever. So anyway, I went on his channel, and all of his content, he had a road going 125. That was what he had. That was his bike, and that's what he was doing content with. And he claimed to be in a position to tell me that the trail that I rode my Meteor on, he could do it on a MotoGP bike, and obviously hasn't even passed his test yet. So I did actually leave a sarky comment on one of his videos. But that's the only time I've actually reacted to somebody. But yeah, like you say, quite often when you find out who is slagging you off and you see their channel and they've got 2 videos up and they've got 10 views, which is probably all family members, yeah, you don't really need to take it to heart. Well, I've got to say, I'm liking the single malt DYC. Most pleasant, quite complex, smooth-ish. Not bad at all. Wee Mark says, I love Stilton from Macro. A kilo at a time. Lovely stuff. Oh, I've lost your sound. You're not coming through, mate.
Hello?
There you go. Yeah, it always helps to
been Macro for years.
Yeah, it always helps to switch the mic on, I find. Yeah.
It does, yeah.
Now, the Peaky Biker insists he never swears.
I heard him. He did. He said a swear word once. I heard him say it once.
Yeah. I mean, if he's ex-forces, what are the odds that he doesn't swear?
Yeah. It's a bit like tradesman, isn't it? A bit like me.
Yeah, like a docker. Yeah. Swears like a docker. Sure.
Yeah. Or mucker in Peaky's case. Everybody's a mucker.
Oh, here we go. Peaky. You even embarrassed Derek. Okay. I do think Peaky.
Oh yeah, Lily, she's good at swearing as well.
Is she? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's got a potty mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to mention actually that about the people with YouTube. If you ever get a chance to go to one of the saddlebags ride outs, all those people are like my favorite people in the whole wide world. They're just really, really good bunch of people. All some of them are Royal Enfield riders, some of them are just whatever. But either way, all really nice people, and that's one bit of the year that I always look forward to. Firstly, the ABR. Secondly, no, actually, I probably prefer the saddlebags ride out. I think that's the highlight of my year. But it's always very hit and miss with the weather, of course. But yeah, saddlebags are still here. Look.
Yeah, it's all coming out now. Like apparently, you swear all the time.
I am. I'm terrible. Yeah, Yeah, and another thing with being Exeter rider is that I don't really swear very much, but Steve swears like a person, as you know, Gary. You know yourself.
Yeah, yeah. So you've kept Steve in the cupboard for good reason. There was a
Yeah,
reason why you kept Steve in the cupboard for so long.
and even now he's looking out the closet at the moment. I mustn't
There
joke
we go.
too much about that. It might stick, and I might start getting
Yeah.
rainbow sent through the door and stuff.
Well, I sent you a few. I sent you a few, and I also, what's it? I also sent you a few aubergines as well. Yeah, and a few
Mm.
rainbows. Um, yeah, thank you, Ainsworth. That's very kind of you, mate. No, I think yours are very good, and I particularly like your ride outs with your owners club, and when you ride to the meets, and then when you ride back as a group. Awesome. I'm really envious actually that I usually have to ride alone. It would be nice to go out with a few like-minded souls, Royal Enfield fans. So yeah, I like the fact that you've got a Royal Enfield club and you go out there and you ride there and you ride back together, and then you do your extra rides, which are awesome as well. So
Have you
no,
seen that comment down
your
the bottom that he's put?
your videos are awesome. Videos are awesome. Hang on. Oh blimey, I'm way behind. Hang on.
That's right. Steve weighs more than me, but then he's twice my age.
What's that?
He
What's
says,
that?
Steve weighs more than me, but he's twice my age.
I'm not sure about that, James. I'm not sure about that. Hang on. But anyway, you're on the you have been on the beer, so yeah, beer's not good for that sort
I'm
of thing.
Aquarius Lily.
Great, right. Oh, thank you, Peaky. That's very kind. Not, for a first attempt, it's all right, isn't it? Once I get my hard drive sorted out, and I manage to click on the right pictures, would be good.
To be honest, Gary,
Ooh.
I haven't needed to carry you at all. You've been absolutely fine as it is in
Which
here.
is
So,
weird, isn't it, really? Because, when you think I live on my own and I don't normally talk to anybody ever, you would
mm,
think I would struggle. But no, I'm enjoying it, mate. It's like being down the pub
yeah,
with a
absolutely, mate.
biking
Yeah,
mate. It's all good. That's what it should be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Let's keep it light. Keep it light. Not every show somebody's going to be coming out. Let's not. I
No,
think actually, you might have set the bar too high. I might have really screwed myself tonight with the
I
first
think
show.
I might have
Being,
screwed myself saying that I've come out. I think that could cause
oh,
problems for the next 20 years. A bit like the ice incident, isn't it? That's going to be going on forever. So, oh, he's off to bed,
oh,
Piggy.
no,
I see you,
Peaky's off
mate.
the bed. Yeah, see you, mate. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Really
thanks,
appreciate the
Piggy.
support. Lovely, really good. Yeah, the Hornet does indeed look awesome,
Mm.
but Mark, as the name suggests, he's quite leg challenged.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's going to be too tall for him, unfortunately.
All right.
Uh,
Yeah.
he he, uh, he got a Meteor because he fitted that, and he was quite happy with that. But obviously, it was a bit lacking in performance.
Hmm.
So he's now got a Honda Rebel
I was going to say, yeah, the
500.
Honda Rebel is quite popular for people who are short in the
Yeah,
leg. Yeah.
yeah. But he's still keeping the Meteor because apparently they wouldn't give him any kind of money for it,
Right.
and it was only a year old or whatever. And I said to him, I said, just keep it, mate. In a couple of years, it will be worth what it's worth now.
Yeah.
He's not going to lose any more. They offered him silly money for it, so he said, oh, I'm not having that. So yeah, probably just keep it for a couple of years. You can still use it. It's there if you need it. If the Honda's in for servicing or has a warranty problem or something, and then in 2 years' time, if you want to, you can sell the Meteor. You'll still get the same money in 2 years' time now. It's
Yeah.
just in the first year you lose a lot of money. Actually, I've had a lot of people highlighting depreciation on these cheap Royal Enfields because they've tried to trade it in on a Super Meteor or something like that. What you have to bear in mind, I did speak to my dealer about this, and he's totally right. If you say you've got a Meteor which costs 4 grand new, and the guy comes back in a year to trade it in, he would probably expect 3 grand for it. Like to lose a grand in the first year is okay. And you would think privately you could sell that bike for £3,000 because it's had a couple of the services done, so they don't need to be paid for. It's probably not got a lot of miles on it. But the dealer said to me, he said that is the problem with these cheap bikes is somebody will come in, they'll see it. If somebody's traded it in and I've given him 2,700 and I've put it up for sale at £3,000 because obviously he's got to do a warrant. He's got well, he ain't got to do a warranty because it's still a warranty, but he's got to do a service on it. He's got to register it. So they're going to want £3,000. So say he buys it off you for 2,700 and you've paid 4. You're like, that's a rip off. But he's going to put it up for sale at 3 or 3,200 or something like that. And he said if it's up for sale at 3,200 and the new one's 4, most people are going to come in and go, oh well, yeah, but actually, if I get a new one, I know it hasn't been thrashed and it hasn't been abused, So he said, when we get a trade-in of these lower range bikes like the Meteor and the Classic 350, they can be sat here for like a year because everyone that's in that price range, they'll spend £700 more and get a new one.
Just go the extra mile, yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of stupid because if you bear in mind that the used bike has already had 2 or 3 services done for like 500.
I was just going to mention that. Yeah, he took words out of my mouth. Yeah,
but people don't see that, But that's what the dealers need.
The first 600 mile one is always a pain in the ass because it's something enough, and it's 600 miles, and then £100 later just seems a bit pointless. Whereas if you buy a bike that's got that 600 miles, then if it's a Honda, for example, then you got another 8,000 miles till the next one. So.
Yeah, like when I traded in my Classic 350, it just had the 12-month service done, which is the valve check. It's like the €170 service. So that bike was then good for 6 months. And the bloke that buys it ain't got to do anything. You ain't got to do the 500-kilometre service. You ain't got to do the 6-month service. It's just got a whole 6 months, and he knows everything's been done.
Exactly.
But they gave me, I think they gave me 3,700 for it on it as a trade-in, and they've got it up for 4,400.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, well, no wonder you're not selling it, because new it was 5. The Chrome Classic I think was €5,000 when it was new a year ago. Yeah. And they got it up for 4,400 with it's only done 4,000 kilometres, so it is new, and it's had the 3 services, and then the 500-kilometre, 6 month to 12 months. So it's had 3, but 4,400, it's their own fault. Nobody's
another one,
4,400.
Another one that's like that is the Honda Monkey. You can buy them for £4,000, sell it next year for £4,000 as well. They just seem to really hold their value, as with all Hondas actually.
Yeah, but I think the problem is they're not going to sell the Classic at that. I mean, if they put it up at 4, that means they've earned 300 on it, which they haven't earned because they've got to pay about 130 for the transfer of the registration. Plus they've got to do in theory they got to do a service on it, but they've just done the 12-month service, so they'll tell the customer they've done a service, but they don't have to do it because they've just done it.
Yeah.
So if they put it up for 4, they would have earned €150, and it probably would have gone because a new one is going to be 5. So for £1,000 less to have a bike with 4,000 kilometres on it that's just had the 12-month service done and still got 2 years of warranty on it, I think that would have sold well. But if they put it up at 4,400 and a new one is 5, then they shouldn't be surprised that nobody wants to buy it. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they say, oh, well, we've got to earn something on it. But I say, yeah, but hang on a minute. I haven't got a discount on the Himalayan. I'm paying list price for the Himalayan. So the money that you're earning on the Himalayan. You don't need to earn anything on the trade-in. Okay, they could have still earned 300 on the trade-in. If they put up at £4,000, now 150, let's say, after their costs, 150 they could have earned, and it would have gone probably straight away at £4,000.
Yeah.
But not at 4,400. When a new one is 5, they're having a laugh.
One thing I have
gets
learned
another
since
one.
doing these reviews is how little there is markup on a new bike for a dealer. I don't know if you know
I
much
don't
about
know,
that.
but I'm guessing like if they got a bike up for my estimation is if they got a bike up for £5,000, that they would be paying the importer 3.5, so
No,
fifteen
it's less
hundred
than that.
euros.
On a Royal Enfield, for example, I was speaking to
Yeah,
a dealer up country. It's literally 300 or 400 quid that they make on each bike, max.
is it?
They make
Is
more
that?
money on the bits and bobs, if they sell heated grips or I don't know
Yeah,
bags or
yeah,
whatever, than what they
yeah,
do the bike. The actual bike
yeah.
is nothing. And that's one of the reasons why I think the Chinese bikes, for example, have really crappy service intervals. I'm talking like 1,500 miles, is because the markup is so crap that they make their money up on the oil changes, every 1,500 miles. That's how they get over that. Cheers,
Mm,
Peaky. I think I've already said no night to Peaky, but anyway.
yeah.
Um,
I'm a little bit behind on the chat. Carry on.
but yeah,
Yeah.
there's no money in. It's not really much money in selling bikes. And then if you get in with the big four, for example, then they do like bonus things. If you sell a certain amount, then they'll knock off a load of money and you get a lot more money. But yeah, it's a difficult game. It's a difficult game selling bikes.
Hi, John. Yeah.
Oh,
No.
John.
I mean, in a way, if you look at it, it's kind of in the manufacturer or the importer because you got three levels. I mean, you got the
Yeah.
manufacturer, you got the importer, and then you got the dealer. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of in the importer's interest that the dealer doesn't make too much margin because that
Yeah.
encourages him to make volume.
Mm-hmm.
And the more volume he makes, the more bikes the importer can import to pass on, the more money the importer makes. So basically, um, you can understand that it's in the interests of the importer that the dealer doesn't make too much on every bike, because the only way to make it work is to sell, 5, 6, 7, 8 bikes a month to
Yeah.
cover your costs. So, and obviously where they can also earn is which for them is a plus, but for us is a negative, is on the servicing. Like
Mm.
Royal Enfield with their 6 month service intervals, which is a bit ridiculous, really.
Yeah.
6 month service interval.
But that's why they do
Really,
it, because
yeah,
it
but
retains the money.
that's
Yeah.
a little bit of a pushback for the dealers. They get to earn a little bit on every service they have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And warranty work as well. Warranty work, there's no money in that. They literally really take the mick on that as well. Or what do you call it? Recalls and things like that. It's hardly any money in that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. So no, so that's not a lot then. Yeah, but like I say, at the end of the day, when I tried to trade in the Classic 350, and we were haggling over the price, and I said, look, you could sell that bike at £4,000 all day, as it is, with the mileage, with everything done in the past 12 months. Just had a 12 months expensive 12-month service. And he went, yeah, but £4,000 don't do it for me because I got to re-register it. That's going to be 130. I got to do a service on it, and I said, you ain't got to do a service on it. You just done a 12-month service on it. You don't need a service, Anyway, he wasn't going to budge, and in the end, I said, right, okay, 3,700 towards the Himalayan plus 3 t-shirts and a polo shirt. And then he rolled his eyes into the back of his head and he went, oh, gone. And he stretched his hand out.
yeah.
Anyway, subsequently, when I was in there getting the Himalayan's first service done, I saw it had up for 4,400 and I thought, you cheeky bugger. Yeah, 700, that's 700 more than you gave me for it. But at the end of the day, it ain't going to sell at that,
It isn't going to sell. And at the end of the day, they've got big overheads, haven't they? So, yeah. It's all swings and roundabouts. The other option is sell it privately, which is probably what I do. I buy private and sell private as well. So that's what I normally do with my bikes.
You get the best price doing that, but it is a pain in the ass, you get people coming around wanting to have a go on it and then go ragging the bejesus out of it and then go, no, don't like it, it's rubbish.
I've been very lucky. I haven't had that so far. I've had one which I took out pillion, and he wanted to ride it. I said, no, sorry, I just can't do that. And I took him at pillion, and he still brought it. So, yeah, that's fine.
Saddlebags, Dave says, yeah, he's a ledge. He does really good videos. Saddlebags.
Yeah, he does.
He actually takes time with his videos.
His island trip was fantastic, wasn't it? His videos that he's been putting out recently.
I sent him our weather. We had weeks and weeks of thunderstorms just so that he could have a nice week in Ireland. It was worth it.
Yeah, thanks for that, Gary. Yeah, it's worked quite well, that.
Yeah. So who else have we got in the chat?
Lily's still there. Dave Ricketts, Cornish Motorcycle Diaries.
Yeah, Dave. Yeah, Dave and Willow. There you go, Dave. Saddleback says thank you. Got Lily. Lily's got stamina. Look at Lily. She's still
yeah. She's a gem.
I want some of what she's on. What's she drinking? Lily, tell us what you're drinking. How can you still be here? Peaky says off to bed. That was a while ago. Yeah, that was about 10 minutes ago. Yeah.
How many on there, mate?
21.
Oh, really?
Hanging on in there. Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I need to just like switch in and think of the next subject.
No, it's good. Yeah, so let me think. Let me freestyle a little bit. Yeah, so what do you think?
Is this Gary freestyling, is it? 'Cause that's worrying.
Yeah, I'm going to freestyle it. Don't worry, it's not going to be too difficult. Have you seen the presentations of the 400 Triumphs?
I've seen a picture of it. Yeah, that's about all I've seen, really.
Yeah, there's quite a few videos out. The first video I saw was Moto Bob.
Yeah.
And he's now done a follow-up where we actually got to see it at Hinckley in the metal.
He's killing it, isn't he, Moto Bob?
Yeah. And there's quite a few videos out there now where they've actually got to see it at Hinckley in the metal. We'll see them. It's 2 bikes at the moment. But, yeah, I really hope that they are sensible with the pricing, because I know Triumph has got this thing about being a premium brand and aspirational, but there's no point building a 400 single if it's going to be a premium product, because for that money somebody can go out and buy a 650 Kawasaki or something. And,
exactly. Well, that's my point with being a 400. It's kind of no man's land, really. What you can sell a 400 for.
I think it's very clearly aimed at. It's very clearly aimed at the segment, the KTM 390s, the various bikes that they do, because it's also got 40 horsepower, so it's like similar power output. It's aimed at the Royal Enfield 350s, all of them.
Yeah.
With the idea that, but we've got twice the power, so that means you're going to have to pay a little bit more, but you've got twice the power.
Yeah.
And then obviously with the kudos of saying, but we're Triumph, we're like a fashionable brand. We're like, a bit upmarket compared to Royal Enfield India. At least that's how they would perceive themselves. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But but I think you can't really compare it to the Royal Enfields because they have got double the power. They might only have 50cc more, but they got double the power because they're liquid cooled.
Yeah, the closest one to it really is the Z400, isn't it? Kawasaki.
Yeah, and then the KTM 390s as well. They're also liquid cooled singles with 40 horsepower. So, but I think it is aimed pretty squarely at the Royal Enfield 350 customers. Just saying that, our bikes are cool too, but you can ride them on fast roads if that's where you live, where it's all motorway. Our bikes will do that, no problem. But the key is, what is the price leap going to be? Because you can get a Meteor for like, I don't know, what are they now, 4.5, something like that.
I think it's less than that now.
Yeah, between 4 and 4.5, four something.
Like 4, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the plastic 350 is like a little bit more expensive again, like the upper 4,000s. And
Hmm.
then for the chrome versions, you're into the 5,000s. So, but like you said, with the Trident, I mean, what is the Trident selling for in the base version? You
I
reckon
think it's around
7?
7, something like that.
Yeah. And once you get up to like 6, you're getting very close to Interceptor money. So
Mm.
I don't know how they can pitch it anywhere near 6 and expect to sell it because the Interceptor hasn't got more power, but it's a twin, so it's going to be smoother and
Mm.
it's just going to be a better bike, a nicer bike, bigger
Yeah.
bike. So they've
I think
got
we
to
need to
kind of,
chuck a BSA in there as well, don't we? Do you think?
yeah, that's a 600 single though, isn't it? That's a bit of a bigger
Yeah.
proposition. It's half as big again.
Mm.
What's
But so is
BSA
the
retail?
Interceptor, though, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. What's the BSA? They're retailing above the Interceptor, aren't they?
They start. I think they. Oh God, now you're asking. I should know this stuff. Um, I think they start at 6.5 grand,
Yeah, so that's kind of pretty much Interceptor pricing,
and they do
probably.
ride nice. To be fair, I did like the
Yeah,
BSA.
yeah,
If
yeah,
I had a choice between a BSA then a Interceptor, I'd probably
yeah.
go BSA.
But although architecturally it's similar, it's a liquid cooled single. They can't really be pitching a Triumph against that because you got a 400 and a
Yeah,
600.
big
So they
difference.
won't be
Yeah.
they won't be pitching it against that. So I can only imagine they're going to pitch it to come in under the Interceptor. So it's got to be 5.5. If it gets anywhere close to 6, it will struggle.
Hmm.
And I genuinely think because it's being made in India, they could sell those for 5 and still make a profit. But the bean counters are going to go, yeah, but there's not enough margin.
Hmm.
We want more. So I think they're going to try and go for 5.5, that kind of range, which gives enough margin for the bean counters and also keeps it competitive in the market that they're competing with.
Hmm.
What does a KTM 390 cost?
Um,
They're probably about 5.5, aren't they?
I was going to say I think they're around 5.5. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's got to be the sweet spot. If they come in too close to 6, they're going to struggle.
Hmm.
That would really require someone to be fixated on wanting a Triumph.
Hmm.
You know,
It's
that would be
it's
the only
difficult for
reason
them
to
to be
get.
fair, isn't it? It's a difficult
Yeah,
one to try and pitch.
but if
Hmm.
they can make a profit of 5 and they can get away with selling it at 5.5,
Hmm.
so they're earning over 500 quid on every bike.
Hmm.
That's got to be
But it's
viable.
still like that whole engine capacity, that 400cc capacity. It's still kind of it's just no man's land. When people want a 650, they want a 650 or a 350. But when it comes to 400, people are like, unless it's a Himalayan, of course, and that's there to do a
Yeah,
job, isn't it? But
I think cubic capacity is less important when you think that you have air cooled and liquid cooled bikes. So I think
yeah,
it's more about power output.
yeah, you're right. Yeah,
They'll class the market in power output. So the 40 horsepower market is where they're going with the 400 liquid cooled
mm,
engine, and that's where the Himalayan 450 lands as well. That's got about 40 horsepower as well.
mm. It's
So,
getting
so
busy out there, isn't it?
yeah, so presumably 40 horsepower is the entry level uh, do everything bike.
Yeah,
Royal Enfield have got the 350s and they're coming in at a relatively low 20 horsepower. And I think the 650s are only 40 and a bit, aren't they? They're not high
what the
output
six
engines.
Interceptor or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
They're,
I
they're,
think it's
they're only,
45 or something,
yeah,
46.
exactly.
Yeah,
For a big engine, that's Royal Enfield's thing, isn't it? For the capacity, they've got quite a low output. That
yeah,
So I think the 400 single liquid cooled is almost in a performance category of the 650 twin, almost.
yeah,
But if they
yeah.
if they price it like a 650 twin, they're pushing their luck. Because I'd much rather have a twin than a single. I mean,
Oh yeah,
for motorway work, it's much smoother.
yeah.
Um, so it'd be interesting. But
That's what I liked about the BSA. Really, is that it was a single and had more character than the Interceptor. As much as I love the Interceptor, it did have a bit more. bit more oomph.
Yeah, yeah. Is Exeter charging you his usual hourly rate? Hang on.
Yes.
Yeah, he is. So that's it. Now my channel is now closed. I'm going to have to sell all my bikes. And yeah, that's the end of Economical Rides. But it was worth it because you came out on the show.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's Saddleback saying? Oh, here we go. Yeah, hang on. So let me link the comments. Hang on. There we go. This is from Dave. Ba makes me smile every time. I even
Yeah.
say it myself. God help me. And
That's
then
brilliant, that, isn't it?
Saddlebags. Yeah, and Saddlebags says, "I got everyone I met in Ireland to say it." There's going to be a bar compilation, so we look forward to that.
Yeah.
James is a card. There you go.
Bad language. Yeah. Yeah, Peaky, he's a nice chap. Yeah, I met him on Saturday's top bloke.
That's quite right, Lily. Actually, I really like the. It's funny actually because I lived when I left England at 23. I lived in Germany for 13 years and only spoke German, of course. And um, when I came to Spain, my parents had moved here first, and then I moved out here. So I used to meet up with my parents more, and and I really enjoyed the Anglo-Saxon effing because the whole time I've been in Germany, they don't really have the same kind of words that really express how you feel, you know. So I've not spoken English for many years, and then I come here and I'm interacting with my parents, and all of a sudden I really enjoy when someone grinds my gears. I'm like, F, you know. So yeah, old English, yeah, exactly. This Anglo-Saxon effing and whatever else we do, it's quite liberating, and I did miss it in the years that I was in Germany because they do have their own equivalents, but they don't have quite the same impact. There's something about Anglo-Saxon swearing that is definitely an effective means of communicating
All right.
emotion. There we go. Chris, that's John's son, bought his ADV after watching your review.
Yeah, I like that
Okay.
ATV. It's good.
Yeah.
Very difficult to come by. You can't get them at all over here at the moment, but for some reason.
Right. Yeah, I think Honda have got delivery problems in general, aren't they? People saying like you order a CRF and you're looking at a 6 month waiting list or something.
Yeah, some of them are really. Yeah, I think that's same through the whole thing. The only people that didn't really have a problem getting bikes through lockdown were Royal Enfield. They seem to be able to keep selling them. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they did, but I still suspect that my Meteor, which was one of the very first ones to land on these shores, um, they bought in some shonky mirrors to finish the bike because that was at the height of the
I
supply
remember you saying
crisis.
about that. Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm the only person I know that had the mirror heads vibrate themselves to death and fall off. Nobody else has had that. And my mirrors had no stamps in the back of them, no branding, nothing.
yeah,
And when I got replacement mirrors, they had Royal Enfield embossed in the back. And, you know, so I'm pretty sure they had bikes that were like nearly finished. And they thought, shit, we've got to get these on the ship. You know, there's a ship booked for that and that day. We've got to get a container full
yeah,
for Europe.
yeah.
Let's just buy in
Get
any
some
old
off
shit we can
eBay.
get. Yeah, off eBay, get the
Alibaba.
bikes finished. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But yeah, in
Yeah,
general, Royal Enfield have been very good. But what I have heard through my channel is that for North America, they had massive delays. They were really late getting the bikes into North America.
yeah.
We were all right in Europe, but North America, they did have to wait a long time for the Meteor to finally arrive. People
Uh,
bought and paid for theirs, and they were waiting 6 months before the bloody things arrived.
yeah.
Yeah. How many is that, Gary? I can't keep up. Hang on. Right, so that was two little beers, my little ones, and then I'm on the second whiskey. So not bad. Not a lot. Not a lot. It's not wearing thin. You know, like changing it. Oh, Howie. I thought he'd gone to
It's off
bed
the bed
ages ago.
advice, eh? See
He's
that,
finally
Howie?
gone. Howie's finally gone. Yeah, looks like it. Good night, Howie. We did say good night. There we go. Yeah, little big up for saddlebags, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
top bloke.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great. I mean, you live so far away, but it'd be good if you could come along to one of the ride outs that he does. A really good day out.
It would be mental. That is like,
Mm.
nah, it's on my bucket list. We figured out that it's going to take me, what was it, 9 hours, 10 hours to get to Santander.
Yeah,
So there you go. And from there, they drive me there.
yeah.
Then I'm in the UK, and then it's only a few hours to wherever I need to go.
Or the other option, you go from Spain and fly into Exeter Airport, and you can have my Beamer for the day. Sorted.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that would be another alternative for the saddlebags ride. And then, yeah, see if we can work something out for the ABR. Actually, Saddle was also, he's also offered me a bike if I manage to come over. So,
Yeah,
yeah, that would be an alternative. Flying to Exeter. I know Ryanair used to fly into Exeter, but I don't know where from. I don't know if there's any
yeah. I don't know
near
either.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd probably be easier, wouldn't it, rather than riding over because that's a long old way. I wouldn't.
Yeah. On my little bikes, if I had a big fat easy bike, then
GS.
it would be fun. But yeah, on my
Yeah,
little bikes, it might be. Well, the thing is, like I said, it's a time thing. I haven't got 2 weeks to pop over to England and come back on a 350, but I could probably wangle a week to fly over, spend a few days, and then fly back. So
yeah.
yeah, basically, I could half
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
time. Yeah,
Yeah, and if you flew into Exeter, then you've got the bike set ready to go. Saddles down the road. Quinn's a bit
that'd be
further away.
awesome because I've never
Yeah,
ridden a boxer, as we discovered earlier. So that'd be quite interesting to ride a
yeah,
boxer.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, the classic 650 twin. That is a real great move by Royal Enfield because I think they're going to undercut the Bonneville by so much because the Bonneville is no longer a cheap bike.
mm,
So if they do a classic 650 twin with the kind of classic 350 styling, which it has, I've seen the videos. That's kind of like a 650 Bonneville, but a lot cheaper than the entry level Bonneville is now. So I think that's a smart move by Royal Enfield again for people that like these classic bikes that think the 350 is a bit weak for what they need. Because the trouble is the Continental and the Interceptor. Well, the Interceptor for me is kind of like a 70s style, it's 60s, 70s. It's kind of, it's not really retro. It's kind of like, 60s, 70s. And I think if Royal Enfield bring out something that's really like a Bonneville, like earlier 60s, because I think probably because they came out, the first color they did was the orange crush, so I think the Interceptor is kind of more or less an early 70s style bike.
mm,
So to do a Bonneville you have to go back into the 60s. So if they can bring out a classic 350 style bike with the twin engine as a 650, I think that'll sell well because it's for the classic 350 people that find that bike too weak. But on the other hand, I've had a lot of people say, I want a single. So, because of the simplicity.
yeah. I was going to say,
So,
I think that the 06 650 engine thing, I think they seem to be putting, like they all do, they put different engines in, or the same engines in different bikes, don't they? But I like to
mm,
see something different than the 350 or the 650.
mm.
Engine wise, like maybe the 450 Himalayan, same, that's
Yeah,
going
the
to be more
450,
different.
the 450 LC is the next new engine that's going to come on stream. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas when they
But
go from a 350 Classic to a 350 Meteor, then 350 Hunter. It's want something
Yeah,
different.
yeah,
Engine wise.
they're going to do the same thing allegedly. With the 450 engine, the next engine that comes out. They're going to do a cruiser, the ADV bike, which I don't think would be called the Himalayan. It would be called the something or
Mount
other tour.
Snowdon.
Yeah, something or other tour because I think it's going to be more road focused. I think it's really aiming for the KTM 390.
Saddle saying bye bye. Good night,
Bye bye.
Saddle. Ciao for now.
Ciao
Bye
for
bye.
now. Bye bye. Hang on, let me do it so you can use it in a future video. Ciao for now. Bye bye. There you go.
That's got to be bye bye. Goodbye. Got to bye. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I just think that the Bonneville has kind of become too expensive because they've made it bigger and bigger. Even
Oh,
the
yeah.
entry level Bonneville is kind of quite a pricey bike.
Yeah.
So for people that would like a Bonneville but haven't got that kind of money, if they bring out an Interceptor that looks more like a Bonneville, I think that will find a market.
Yeah.
And also a lot of the classic 350 people that I talk to that want something a bit more capable, for them, that would be an option. But what I do find is this twin cylinder 650 is a heavy old lump, isn't it?
What,
Those
sorry, which
650s
one?
are really heavy.
Oh, the Triumphs.
No, the Enfield 650 twins.
Oh, right.
The
I
engine,
didn't really
the
find
engine
them.
is heavy as F.
Yeah, I suppose it is, but it's not as much as.
I've got a couple of 650s, and I thought, well, it's not that much bigger than my 350. It's only 300cc, because it's got two cylinders, and obviously everything's built like in a pretty hefty way. It's a lot of weight. It's a lot
It's
of
not
weight.
as much weight as a Triumph T100, 1200cc Bonneville.
No, but then they've probably got like 4 times the power.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they have. Yeah.
650 twins, not exactly.
I don't really find. Maybe I'm a bit numb to it now, riding the big bikes, but yeah, I don't really find the 650 that heavy, really. Yeah.
Let me just check the comments. So that was Dave. Motorbob is.
Your baba is safe. Saddlebags. Good night. I bloody tried, didn't I? I'm doing this for free. I'm not an impressionist. Even Saddlebag said it was terrible.
Oh, it's awesome. Here we go. Mark says I can borrow his Meteor. That's very kind, Mark, but it's in Aberdeen. That's a little bit away from the Saddlebag Social, isn't it? I might as well ride my Meteor from Spain to there, probably. It's probably not a lot of difference. But anyway, nice offer. Thank you, Mark. Yeah. Hang on to it for another couple of years. Use it from time to time. You'll still get what they quoted you for it. No problem.
It's weird, really, isn't it, that you're where you live and all of your subscribers are over here.
Yeah, I mean, I've had Spanish people saying, "Oh, why don't you do your videos in Spanish? You live in Spain." And I'm like, "Yeah, but if I do them in Spanish, like the only people that are going to watch Spanish people, the fact that I do it in English is I've got people in Australia, New Zealand, United States, Canada. It's probably a bigger audience, and also, of course, I am English, and the fact that I'm doing all of my bike buying and riding and stuff in Spain is a bit of a USP. It's a little bit different, isn't it? Because the market in the UK for like motor vlogging is very full. There's like lots of people riding around in England doing vlogs, and at least my vlogs are in Spain, and at least they got a pretty dog in them most of the time. So it makes it a little bit different, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
But I don't think I'd gain anything. The only thing I would gain by doing it in the Spanish way would be I might possibly get a connection to manufacturers. I might get the importers saying, "Oh, do you want to test?" Because basically Royal Enfield Spain would have to take an interest in me for them to lend me a bike or invite me to a press launch. which ain't going to happen because my videos are in English. So they're like, if he does a video in English, none of our Spanish potential customers are going to watch it. So,
Yeah.
So that would be the only advantage, was I might get into this thing of being in the PR divisions of various people think, oh, he's a slight influencer in Spain. Let's get him on board. Let's invite him. But I'm not an influencer in Spain by any degree. If I'm an influencer in an English speaking world in any way, yeah, but I'm in Spain. So if they do an event, they're not going to want me in England because I'm in Spain. So basically, I'm kind of out of both. The only advantage of doing everything in Spanish, like I say, would be that I would be more on an even footing with you. That I could say, okay, try and get bikes, try and generate a buzz around a bike, but it would have to be in Spain because I've got to deal with the Spanish importer. That's the only way it can work. So no, I'm not bothered. Like I said, the way you have to do your reviews, I wouldn't want to be under that pressure.
No,
I'm under
it's
the
not
pressure
fun, mate. I don't know why I do
no.
it, but it's not fun.
Yeah, I put myself under pressure. I want to do one video per week, and I still manage to do it, even when it's not really on the cards. I somehow manage to do it, and that's enough pressure. I don't need manufacturers or bike dealers adding pressure, So
Can I just say as well that when I say it's not fun, it is at the same time. It's pressure, but it's fun. I can't really describe it. Really, I don't know why I do it sometimes, but I do enjoy the end products and I enjoy the film. I love getting the shot, getting the actual shot. So yeah. I like getting the shots and all that, and then putting it together and thinking, wow, that looks awesome. That's what I do it for. But you can't beat a what I call a cut and shut. Going out on your bike, talking about a load of wiffle waffle, and then just cutting out the faff, and then sending it. Easy, so easy.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh, right, okay. So apparently William says that in North Germany they're quite good at swearing as well, presumably.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't spend much time in the north. I was only there for a couple of holidays when I was living in Germany. But I did find a lot of similarities between North German and English. There were a lot more, especially in the sense of humour. Very similar. So yeah, I can imagine they're pretty good at expressing themselves in a slightly interesting way, like we are. Yeah. Awesome. So, yeah, we're down to the last 12 diehards. Whoever you are, thank you so much. Bloody hell, we've been going for 3.5 hours, mate.
Let's get going. Yeah, so we've got
It
the
is.
diehards. That's going to be Lily. It's going to be Dave Hawkins. Saddles ducked out. Nearly just made it to the end, didn't they? Wee Mark, maybe. Cornish Motorcycle Diaries. I guess he still might be in there somewhere. It's good going. You've done well there, Gary. Keeping them on for that long.
Hang on, what's one you saying? You forgot a summer from North Germany. Oh, sorry. Yes, I did. I said UK, Australia, North America, blah, blah, New Zealand. Yeah. I've got quite a few. Quite a few from Germany and environs. I've got a French person, some Belgians. I've got quite a few. Dan from Thailand. Here we go. Look at that. Yeah, you're true. Yeah, and to all of my German-speaking viewers, I do speak fluent German, so if you feel more comfortable commenting in future, communicating in future in German, knock yourselves out, no problem. I'm happy to speak German with you. Like I said, it's just a shame really that YouTube makes it so difficult to make my videos multilingual in a nice way. Because I could certainly do my videos in German and Spanish without any problems.
Be a crap conversation with me here, though.
It would. No, you said you could speak German. You told me.
I can say 9. That's about it.
That's all you need to know. Yeah, it's between.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, let's do German next time.
It's between 8 and 10, isn't it? Between 8 and 10. That's it.
Like 7, 8, 9. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So feel free. German, especially, I'm good at, and Spanish, I'm pretty good at. So if anybody's out there that's kind of not posting comments because they don't know if their English is good enough, don't worry about it. Knock
Yeah.
yourselves out.
Scottish,
Just
Welsh, American. I can deal with
yeah,
all those. Yeah.
I even had some. I think it was Thailand or something, and that was a language. It was all like little squirrely things and that. And I put that into Google Translate and then answered it in squirrely things. So yeah, Google
Yeah.
Translate. So don't worry, just post anytime, any comment, and in any language, and we'll sort it out. But particularly German and Spanish, not a problem.
Yeah.
Good, great live stream. Thanks, guys. Yeah, you're welcome, Mark. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Honestly, thank you so much for everyone that came. Look, we still got 11 people. What masochists? We're
Good.
heading for 4 hours.
Yeah.
I'm going to break YouTube when this recording goes online. YouTube is going to get the hard drive
It's
full.
going to crash, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to need a new hard drive. Thank you so much for everybody. Please give me a little bit of feedback whether you want to do this sort of thing more often. Hopefully, yes, because I really enjoyed it. And yeah.
Who would you like to get on, Gary? Whoever, whatever people.
Oh, there is a list.
Yeah.
And I've already had some volunteers. The only thing I would say is what I want to do. So this is actually worth listening to if you're still here. I definitely prefer this format where it's a one-to-one because I'm not a party guy. I don't really do well with like lots of people all at once. I really struggle to kind of engage everybody at the same time.
Yeah, I struggle. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, your format is really difficult, I think, because you're trying to involve everybody. I'm much more of a one-to-one kind of guy. I like talking to people and learning stuff about people. So probably the format is going to be either me on my own, or if there's somebody available, me and someone else. And I'd like to keep it like a one-on-one at the most. So I'm not going to be doing a party chat. I don't think I will because it sounds like hard work. So I'd be delighted to have you back anytime. I'm sure we'll always have stuff to talk about.
Definitely, Gary. Yeah. Yeah,
done
for sure.
these
And
4
I
hours.
want to say thank you as well, because one thing that I've always wanted to happen, for me on YouTube is for me to be part, like the guests on the show. And I'll let you into a little secret. I was due to go onto Teapot's live stream or podcast, but that was right when my father-in-law died, sadly. So I had to cancel that, and then so that's the end of that. But this for me is absolutely massive. Good old Dave. Cheers, Dave. Yeah, this has been massive for me. So thank you very much for having me, and everybody in the side chat that's listened to my whiffle waffle. I really appreciate it.
Hang on, William. No, you're taking the mickey now. Come on, I'm not going to translate that live. That ain't happening. That's Danish.
Right.
No, I'm going to struggle with that. But yeah.
That's not going to happen, is it? I don't know what it is.
James is from Lancashire. We'll have to put that into Google Translate to understand what James is banging on about. Definitely. Yeah. Thanks, Mark. Lovely to have you here. Good luck with the Rebel, and don't neglect the Meteor, babe. It's a lovely bike. Dave. Sorry, I was right tonight, but yeah.
I even like.
Thank you, Dave.
Steve's, yeah.
Thank you, Dave. We'll try and do semi-regularly, I think, because I really enjoyed it. I mean, you were worried that I was going to get psyched out by it, but no, I really like it.
No, you were fine, weren't you? Yeah.
It's just like hanging out with mates. It's good. And you've got mates in the comments as well. Most names I recognise. Most people I've talked to.
It's
before.
literally like that, Gary. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean there. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do find your format. I would find that more difficult if I've got like 3 or 4 people that I'm trying to involve in a conversation. It's much more difficult. But if I can just focus on you and the chat, that's kind of.
I get you, mate. I tell you where it goes wrong. It's fine, like having the standard crew there, like Neve, Saddle, Phil, and Adam. because that does work, but it gets difficult when there's more than 2 guests. That's when it gets complicated. So us 4 with 1 guest is the way for me to go. Because if I dry up, they've got other things to say anyway. So yeah, but I know what you mean. It's more to sort out.
Good job, Mark. Yeah, because it's still a lovely bike. You might have more power, you might have more whatever, but the Meteor is still a cracking bike. Do that. Definitely do that. All right. So I think we'll knock it on the head because we don't want to fill up YouTube's hard drive any more than we are doing already. Or anything else you'd like to say? I mean, before we go? No?
No, not really. I just want to say thank you very much to you. Like I say, this has been massive for me being part of a show rather than
Bless
being
you.
the host of a show.
Bless you.
It's
No, I mean, honestly, it really came across that you were more keen to do this than I was. So,
yeah, definitely, mate. I wanted you to do it. I really wanted you to
it's
do
your
this for
it's
your
your
sake.
fault. It's your fault. So thank you for that. And
Yeah, no
yeah, it
worries, mate.
seems like I've got the technology sorted. I'm pretty good.
Definitely. Yeah, that looks great. Looks good to me.
No, I'm totally on top of things. You know, I mean, it's like nothing
And
went
thanks
wrong
to
tonight. You
us
know.
boring. Don't look at that. All that. Yeah, thanks to your subby wubby. That's great. I love that picture. Almost as much as that, not quite. Yeah, no, thanks to your subby wubbies as well for coming along
Yeah,
so kind and stuff. And
yeah.
yeah, good luck on future ones.
Thank you. And yeah, you ain't going to get away with just doing it once. Now you've come out, you're kind
Yeah,
of almost obliged to be a regular. So I
yeah.
hope,
It's going to be in the
yeah,
newspapers tomorrow, isn't it? Coming out. Exeter Rider
yeah,
comes out.
yeah. But it's good that you told your family before, so they were prepared for it. So that's the main
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
And this live stream did have live sausage action, which probably means the video will get demonetized, but I don't care.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we can't beat a video with sausage action and coming out, can you? So
It's
that's
going to be
perfect.
difficult, isn't it? Let's be honest. I've set the bar like here.
Mm,
Like future shows are going to be like here. I mean,
yeah.
where do you go from here? If you start this high up, where do you go?
Just unsubscribe.
It's probably the only thing. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Love you very much. Thank you for coming along. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that you had things to do. The recording of the whole torture, the whole glorious 4 hours is going to be on YouTube. So if you're a real masochist, you can watch it after the event. So right, I'm going to end this broadcast now. Thank you so much, everybody that came. Please give me some kind of indication in some comment or other whether you thought this was a good idea and whether we'd like to do it again with myself or other guests. And oh, thank you, Exmouth. That's very kind. There
Cheers,
you
mate.
go. And FT Strap P as well. Thank you, mate. Yeah, I think for a first attempt, it wasn't terrible.
Nah.
Oh, hang on, Dave.
Good,
Dave
mate.
has got the sausages. Yeah, Ruby's had the sausages. She's already sleeping on my bed. She's actually on my bed in the bedroom. I can hear her snoring. So she's decided that was enough action for one night. So you're all entitled now to go to bed with or without sausages. Thank you so much for coming along. Thank you, Steve, for
Thank
coming
you.
along,
No,
for
thanks.
coming
Thank you
out.
very much. Yeah.
It's been fantastic. I'll speak to you for 5 minutes in the chat afterwards.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody, for coming along. And please give me some kind of indication whether we should do this occasionally. Not always, but maybe from time to time. And I'll just flash this up because I'm showing off. There you go. See, I'm on top of things here.
Sorry, what are you showing off? Was there something exciting going to happen then, or?
I got a scrolling banner.
Oh, wow. It's amazing.
Look at that. Yeah,
That's the best
there
thing
you
I've
go.
ever seen in my life.
I'm on top of things, man. I'm on top of things. Right.
Techie
Thank you
Gary.
so much. Please say Wolfie for Wolfgang. That's much easier. Oh, all right. FT Strat LP. I was going to say your username. I'll just flash it up. Yeah, your username has been doing my head in. I've been so concentrated on replying with the right name. Wolfgang. FT Strat LP. Thank you, Wolfgang. If you say in the future comments, cheers, Wolfgang, I'll reply with Wolfgang because, that would be a lot easier than FT Strat LP. Maybe you can tell me what FT Strat LP means. I know that a Strat is a Stratocaster. Is it some kind of electric guitar reference? Quick. Tell me, because I need to know this. What is FT Strat LP? What is that a reference to? Even Brian Setzer of Stray Cats fame got a Royal Enfield. He loves his old Triumphs. Mm-hmm. So it's what? So it's a reference to a Stratocaster? A Fender? These are the questions, you see. These are the questions that interest the world. Hang on, let me just put the banner away. Put that to bed. Go to bed, banner. So FT Strat LP. So what I'm thinking is Fender T Stratocaster LP. But what's the whole context?
He sounds like a talented chap.
Oh, here we go. Flat 2 guitar, Stratocaster LP Les Paul guitar. LP, no, but it's a Les Paul. FD, flat 2 guitar, Stratocaster, LP is Les Paul. Fascinating. Curiouser and curiouser. There we go. Flat top guitar, Les Paul. So flat top guitar, Stratocaster, Les Paul. There you go. AKA Wolfgang. As Exmouth Biker is AKA Steve, as we've learned tonight. Awesome. So thank you very much, all you lovely 8 people that are still there and clearly need more hobbies. Thank you so much. It's been fantastic.
Thanks,
and
everyone.
I've really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's been fantastic. Really enjoyed it. And thank you so much. I can see poor Steve wants his bed.
No, I'm good. I'm
He's a
good for
party
another
dude.
4 hours.
Yeah, he's a party dude.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers all. Thank you very much. And a recording of this whole bizarre happening should be on my channel under the live tab. It's a bit tricky to find. Don't go under videos, go under live on my homepage under live, and you should see a recording of the whole nearly 4 hours of craziness. Thank you so much for everyone that turned up and the people that are already gone. And bye. Thank you.